What do you got for me? Are you a Trump guy?
I am a Trump guy.
Ooh.
Well,
Okay.
I voted for Trump. Not going to defend everything, but
3 times or?
yeah, 3 times. No,
Okay.
no. Basically, my first question is why?
Wait.
Yeah,
Can I ask how old you are real quick?
I'm 26.
Okay. All right. Just curious. Okay. Go ahead.
My first question is why is it incumbent on Trump to come out and condemn all political violence post Charlie Kirk assassination?
I feel like there's like a basic like humanity thing that I think every human being should have like an instinct when they see violence and like a healthy environment to want to discourage it as much as possible. I think that when people are calling for violence or when people seem to be okay with violence, I think it says something about what their political goals are or what their goals in general are, or what their morality is. I mean, Donald Trump is the de facto and de jure head and leader of the nation, the head and leader of the Republican Party, and I mean, I guess it's controversial to say this, but like, I mean, a lot of political violence comes from the right, or is at least happening to the right. So it just seems morally deficient and character deficient for him to not seem to want to make statements to bring the temperature of the country down like Biden would.
But then I would just say that your reaction to Charlie Kirk's assassination wasn't necessarily human either. There wasn't a human element there either. So
I feel like there was a very human element to my reaction. It's pretty not too common that you watch people that you've ever like interacted with get killed before, and then the idea that you would be in similar situations potentially, I think is kind of unnerving. I think it's fair for me to say that. When this happens in my country, and then the next day I see the president of the United States just saying unhinged statement after unhinged statement after unhinged statement, I think it's fair for me to look at more than just kind of like the virtue signal position and try to think more strategically of like what needs to happen to actually make the country a calmer place. Because so far, Democrats disavowing violence over and over again hasn't seemed to work.
that's my point, is that it seemed like you were setting up some kind of rule where it's like before you make any principled statement, you have to say, or you have to hear it from Trump first, and I don't think that's a requirement. That wouldn't be my rule, basically. Like, I think you could just have a principled statement. I mean, I understand the prisoner dilemma stuff, but like, you could just have a principled statement, and I think not everyone, the culture isn't necessarily run by the president. I think nowadays it's run by online media, and I think you're the biggest influencer on online media.
You don't think
And so
Trump is
that's
a big
why-
influence in online
That's
media?
why I'm looking to you.
Okay.
That's why I'm looking to you. That's my rule of you should come out, especially if it's done by a lefty, like the Charlie Kirk assassination.
I don't know if that guy was a lefty or not, right?
I think there's pretty solid evidence.
I think there's zero evidence so far that he was a
Zero
lefty,
evidence?
right?
Well, I mean, what do you think about the bullet engravings?
I mean, all of them so far seem to be Epic Gamer references or whatever.
what is that supposed to mean? Or like,
They're just, like they come
that
from
could
games
still-
and TV shows and stuff.
that could still indicate a leaning, though.
It could.
That
I'm not saying I'm not saying it's impossible that he was left leaning. I'm just saying there's not really
Yeah.
any good evidence of it right now.
Okay, but like probably more, I think good enough evidence. Like, you wouldn't bite the bullet and just say that he's probably a lefty.
Absolutely not.
You wouldn't.
I just don't think there's great evidence. I think right now,
If he's trying to take out one of the conservatives' top guys, what would be the reason for that?
I mean, he
if
could
he
have just
wasn't.
he could have been like a closeted gay guy who just hated the fact that like he was anti-gay, like he lived with a trans roommate and everything. He could have just hated political people in general. He could have been trying to impress somebody. I don't know. Apparently, one of the Reagan assassins, or wannabe assassins, tried to do this. Like there are a lot of potential explanations. Whatever the explanation is, it could be an exceptional explanation because it's an exceptional event. But I'm just saying there's not solid evidence where it's like, oh, this guy's definitely radicalized by the left, right?
But that doesn't outweigh, I think, the bullet engravings. Like, he didn't have to do that. He's doing that so people can know. He's claiming it. He's openly claiming it. So it's like that.
If he was, then
whatever
why would
that
there be
was-
any ambiguity at all, right? Like, there's no Discord logs of him being super left. There's no public statement of him being super left. Whatever the note was that supposedly there was a picture of, I guess, that wasn't anything super left. None of the text messages indicated he was super left. Like, he didn't make... His mom, who's super MAGA, my mom says I'm super left, okay? No offense, but...
I mean, I think that could just be like a coded, edgy thing to do.
Yeah, but
And,
how
like,
stupid would it be
how
to do
much
a coded message when you're trying to make a statement to the world that you're doing a political assassination?
Well, like you're saying like you have to have 100% evidence.
I'm saying
in order
like
for
having
that to-
10% would be
in
nice.
order for that to outweigh the evidence that he's not.
No,
Which
I think
was your-
I'm think in a less charged environment, I'm taking like I'm just looking at all the facts. It is weird that like if you look through this guy's history, if you look through his roommate's history, they look like aggressively normal people. Like their whole history is like so normal in terms of like comments online and everything. And that's really weird. Normally you see like really radical stuff. But like unlike the other side, because conservatives don't do this, I extend the same courtesy to, the I think the trans church shooter. No, I don't think it
I
was.
don't know that one.
It was
but
either them or somebody else made a statement, or they said something like they supported Brandon Herrera or something. Did anybody remember this? It was a church person, yeah. But like looking at the context of everything, that person was like, "This is a meme statement. This person's not actually like a supporter of this guy, or if he is, it's like for non-related reasons, right?" So like I extend the same thing there. I'm not gonna say like, "Oh, this guy was 100%, a right-wing radicalized by Brandon Herrera person." I'm just saying like in the totality of things, like this shooter for Charlie Kirk, there's like nothing. There's not much here besides our bullet writings in terms of.
Well, I don't know that specific situation, but if you wanted to go to the Hortmans, I would say he has more evidence of being a left winger than the Hortman shooter was of being a right winger.
Why didn't the Hortman person like literally have a list of Democrats that they wanted to go and kill?
He also had the No Kings protest flyers there as well. So I'm like, I don't really know what to weigh. It seemed like he was more in a mentally unstable position than
It seemed pretty like
than
driven and on
what
a
you're
mission.
saying
No?
the Kirk shooter was.
I don't think there's any evidence for either of these guys being like I'm saying crazy, very specifically like psychotic or delusional or something. Like hearing voices or something. Like I think they both did what they did for probably like logical reasons, like they could explain them from start to finish. I don't obviously support. I don't think it's good.
But I mean, the crux of it is you think.
But here, backing up.
The turning down of the rhetoric should come from the president. In your mind, in my mind, I think it should come from online media influencers because they are influencing the culture. And
Yeah,
I
but
would
everybody
say
on the right takes
they
notes
want-
from Trump.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think the right takes notes from Trump.
Everybody takes notes from Trump
What do you mean? Like
on everything.
no,
Epstein.
let me explain. So like
Okay.
the online media culture, I think the people online, the young men online, were doing the work for Trump. No matter what he said, we were doing the work to get him elected, and that's really what won him the election was the online media and the rise of independent media, online media, not necessarily politicians. It's why Trump can say crazy things and Biden can be, senile, and it doesn't matter to people.
But I think it does matter. I think it says something that when Trump says crazy things, people go out and do crazy shit. Like nobody's citing Biden.
We'll trace that though. Like, what has he said that has led to someone doing something?
Well, like he said, the 2020 election was rigged. He said that mail-in ballots were fake. He brought a ton of people to the Capitol. They went and did some crazy shit. There was the recent guy who, the kid who live streamed himself running over those two girls, who followed like a ton of like Trump and Charlie Kirk shit, and he said that these two girls were like making fun of Charlie Kirk's death. In terms of like,
I don't know about that.
I know that's always a secret defense.
No, I really don't. Seriously, I don't know about that one.
I understand, but I feel like that's a big part of the problem. I feel like conservatives only ever hear about the things that like are the most relevant to them, and then
No, like I'm online. I'm on Twitter every day. I watch like a lot of video. I watch like a lot of videos.
I understand.
Everyone here is
but I'm
probably
saying
on
that like
Twitter,
if
too.
I were to like say that like I'm on Twitter every day, like we're seeing different things unless we're going out explicitly looking for contradictory evidence, right?
But I'm talking like the big name stories. Like my first example was a Charlie Kirk assassination.
Yeah, but the big name stories are what conservatives
And
want
the
to be the big name stories, right?
Maybe. Like I don't know.
Do you agree
What's
that it
supposed
was?
to mean?
So I would say that it was unacceptable. I would say this is an instantaneous impeachment, like exile from the country moment when Donald Trump was asked by, is it Caitlin Collins? Is that her name?
I don't.
Yes.
I don't know
When
who
she
that
was
is.
I think it was her that asked the question. Well, she said, "You wanted to lower the flag to half staff for Charlie Kirk. Do you think, in retrospect, that it's kind of in poor taste that you didn't do this for the Hortmans when they were killed in Minnesota, and Trump didn't even know about it? Like that seems exceptionally crazy to me. No.
And Trump did. This is my first time hearing this.
I
story.
know.
No, I'm serious. I'm serious.
Stop.
Yeah.
Calm down. You fuckers don't know about shit unless I watch on stream either. Okay, so
Yeah,
fuck
yeah,
you guys.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers. I know how this shit works. Okay.
So I just don't feel comfortable commenting on something I don't really know the whole case for.
Let's assume that was true. Would that be a disgraceful, disgusting moment?
That he didn't lower at half mast.
No, that he didn't even acknowledge that he knew about it. He was like, I don't know who's that.
That would be bad. That would be bad. But like, if
Did you ever see the video after the shooting happened where somebody asked him outside the plane? They were like, "Are you going to call, Tim Walz and talk to him?" And he was like, "That guy's a whack job or whatever. I'm not going to call him or say anything."
No.
Okay. If he did say that, that would be kind of bad too, though, right?
That was too fast. I didn't.
If he did say that, though, that would be bad, right?
What did you say? I didn't
That
comprehend
when
what
he
you
was
said.
asked, I think outside of Air Force One, they were like, "Are you going to call Tim Walz or have a conversation or reach out to the governor of Minnesota or anything?" And Trump was like, "That Walz is a whack job. I'm not going to talk to him. Whatever."
Yeah. That I would say that's bad.
bad?
I would say that's
Okay.
bad. But
And then just
since
real quick, and then
we're going-
and then you go to your point. Would you say that those two things together, those two things together are worse than anything that Biden has said in the totality of his presidency about Republicans, or any individual instance of violence ever, or and you can include Obama there too, and Clinton, and the other.
I don't know if I would say that. I would
Like,
have
can
to,
you think
I would
of
have
one
to go
worse?
back-
Yeah, just think of one. Maybe not off the top of your head, you can't. But like, can you think of one
Yeah.
worse? Like, what's the worst thing that like Biden ever said about a?
Well, I'm not like necessarily like a huge Biden critic or anything. I'm just saying like I know he was escalating rhetoric towards conservatives. Saying
Biden was?
Yeah, like what was it?
You're gonna bring up the
Not-
speech.
Oh yeah. It's probably the speech. What was that after? Do you remember?
The MAGA Republicans ones that they're a threat to the country.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Is
at
it the
this
one with
point.
the red background where he looks like Darth Vader?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is a red background. It is a red background.
So in that speech, like right after he says that, so Republicans always quote that one line, but he says, "I don't think that all Republicans are MAGA Republicans. I don't even think most of them are. I've worked with a lot of them in Congress, blah, blah, blah." But the thing that he's talking about, and I don't know how else he's supposed to address this, is the fact that the majority of the Republican Party still didn't believe the results of the last election. So when he says that, like, this is a threat to the country,
and they're allowed to believe that. They're allowed to.
I mean,
People are allowed to. Yeah, they're allowed to believe that.
well, no, hold on. I'm just.
What do you mean when I don't have to respond to this? But what do you mean? Do I believe it or not?
No,
Do
I didn't ask if you
the
believe it. I'm
result?
just saying that, like, well, if people are allowed to believe that, then that means that Biden should be allowed to believe that they're a threat to the country, right?
If people
are allowed to believe that the election
he's allowed to believe it. I'm just using this as an example of him inciting rhetoric, which is kind of a liberal talking point of like, let's focus on who's inciting the rhetoric. And so I'm analyzing who's inciting the rhetoric, and we keep pointing at instances before the Kirk assassination, and before that happened was the Trump assassination attempts. And I remember your rhetoric on this too. And so
that
I
guy
think
was
that's
also a
pretty
registered Republican, right?
damning. That guy was a registered Republican?
Both of them were, right?
Well, I don't know if that necessarily matters actually.
Well,
Like,
but if they were a
the-
registered left-leaning person, do you think that would matter? If they were
No,
a registered Democrat?
I think it's enough evidence to say if they're taking out one of the top guys or the president, that means they don't like him.
Well, what about the evidence that
And
the
we live
guy?
in a
What about
two-party
what about
system.
the assassin for the Hortmans? That wasn't enough evidence there that person and the list of all the other
I'm not
Democrats. that
saying
wanted to
there
kill?
is evidence there. We're working with two different rules. You're
Sure.
saying we should demand that the presidents denounce political violence or condemn it on the world stage. I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
we should condemn online media influencers because they're in charge of the culture now.
Yeah, but I think the
which
right
has a
takes
big
their notes
impact.
from Trump.
I'm just going to disagree with that.
Can you
That they-
give me any examples where there are huge?
They
out
don't
of,
take notes from Trump. Like
Like, when
the
Trump says
right-wing
something, they'll always
culture was
defend it.
built independently, which resulted in Trump getting elected.
Yeah, but now Trump works with it, and there's like a top-down like structure where when Trump says something, everyone else is saying it, and everybody supports it.
Like presidents can influence culture from the top down, but it's mostly just in terms of we have the authority to enforce what the culture is saying.
Well, then why did all Republicans seem to not care as much about the Epstein files?
I don't know how that's related.
Well, because if that's what that seemed like they really cared about it for a while, but why did they stop? It's because Trump told them to stop because he said it was a loser issue, and then everybody took notes from him, and eventually that's cascaded through the party. And
my
that's
whole point is like you can condemn individual Republicans for not if they were big on Epstein files and then that changed because they didn't want it to get found out. I think you can criticize individuals there. That's my whole paradigm is like we shouldn't be holding people responsible. We should just hold the people. I mean, the only people responsible would be the online media influencers for the culture and the rhetoric. But like you could just criticize individuals. You could criticize Charlie Kirk for what he said.
Well,
It doesn't matter.
I don't understand why we think that like the president of the United States can't have a large influence on the culture.
No, I'm not saying he can't.
Then shouldn't he be
I'm just
disavowing
saying
violence?
nowadays, which is different than history, it's the culture is run independently. It's through independent media.
Okay, I disagree, but we don't even have to agree on that point. Shouldn't Trump disavow violence?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so it's a moral failing of his to not disavow violence,
Yep.
and it's a greater moral failing for him to say that violence on his side is somewhat justified.
Violence on his side is somewhat. I don't know about that.
So when he was
I
on
don't know
Fox and Friends, they asked him about like violence on the left or the radical violence, and he says that when it was something I'm paraphrasing, but he says like when the leftists do radical violence, it's like trans Tifa or whatever stuff, but when the right does radical violence, it's in response to the left being crazy. So like, in a way, he made it sound like right-wing radical violence was righteous, and left.
I kind of believe that. I kind of agree with that. Like when we trace it back, and I've been following you a long time. I've been following politics a long time. When we trace it back, the first instance for me of like excusing political violence on a big scale was BLM Antifa, and that happened before J6. That happened before J6. So I'm like, I saw a ton of people excusing it, bailout funds for the rioters, and someone at the end of it, towards the end of it, someone was shot in cold blood. A conservative was shot in cold blood about that, and there wasn't any denouncing of violence there. So it is important to go
Also,
to
I feel like
the first infraction. I'm curious to know what your first infraction.
well, probably shots fired in the Revolutionary War or something. I mean, like, there's been violence for a lot of U.S. history, right?
Yeah.
But I'm when I look at the BLM stuff, I feel like there's a difference in that a lot of this is like decentralized. It sucks because conservatives make so many excuses for Trump because of COVID, but they never make excuses for Democrats on COVID, which is whatever, I guess. But like everybody was crazy around the fucking BLM riot time, right? Everybody's inside. We all watched George Floyd die for 9 minutes, and just people fucking lose their minds. I think a lot of the BLM like rioting stuff, I think was bad. Destroying neighborhoods, all this shit, I think is always bad. I think Democrats paid electoral prices for it, and I think a lot of them, when Biden came into office, he had to denounce and say that like violence is unacceptable, guys. We can't riot. It's not okay.
But why do you think it's important to say on both sides if we know where the side that it came from?
Well, because violence does come from the right, and we should all want.
But I'm asking you for the first example where it came from the right that was before BLM Antifa.
What do you mean?
The first example of like political violence that came from the right that was before BLM Antifa. You know, like in my lifetime.
What about it? Or are you asking for like an example of it?
Because you get into a revenge cycle. The first time that infraction's made and politicians don't denounce it and everyone supports it, and we can get into BLM Antifa, but like the first time that's made, then the other side has the prisoner's dilemma of like, okay, well, we can't just be condemning, you know, our side.
But the Democrats have been condemning their side over and over again, and everybody.
Well, you're kind of just making the all lives matter argument of like, oh, we're condemning
You guys made the all lives matter.
Well, you're making it now. You're saying we need to condemn all violence, even if you knew it came from one side.
Sure, I think we should all condemn all violence. I think that's a pretty
But
acceptable.
that is kind of just an arbitrary rule that you created.
That's not.
Like,
I think
for
that's.
us
I
to
think it's a
follow,
really good
for us
rule
to
that
follow.
everybody should condemn political violence.
Before you can be principled about that. Like, because that's really what's happening is you're saying before
I
I
am
can make
principled
any,
about it.
be-
I think
before
that-
I can make any statement on Charlie Kirk, it's like I need you
I need
guys
to know that I have a
and
partner in
need to-
civility.
and I need to ask
Yeah.
President Trump.
Yeah.
I need to ask him, as if that would do anything. I need to ask him to turn down the rhetoric before you, Destiny, make a.
Yeah, that's a principled position. It's better than Trump's, right?
But my principle is better. Is what
I don't
I'm
care
saying.
about your principle. I care about the president, the leadership of the United States, right? You acknowledge that
I'm
I have a
here-
different.
I'm-
Wait, you acknowledge I have a different principle than Donald Trump, right?
But I'm here to criticize you. Like that. That's what I'm
Okay.
here
Well,
for.
then my position is
But-
that
but
I
we-
think that it's.
we
I think that it's
compared it.
as somebody
we already
who's
compared
a
it to Donald Trump.
what?
We already compared it to Donald Trump, and I'm saying if you go back, you know, my
So
paradigm
you think
lasts
it's
longer.
immoral? You think it's immoral to have the position of, you know, I'm willing to condemn violence. I condemn all violence. I'm willing to condemn any amount of violence as long as my civil partner is on the same page as me and is willing to condemn it as well. Do you think that's an immoral position to hold?
Not an immoral position necessarily. I'm just like, why can't? It seems like what we understand about like principled positions is more in line with what I'm talking about. Is you
How?
can make
Why
it
do you lock your
you
car
can
door
make
at
it
night?
regardless.
Do you lock your car doors?
Do I lock? Yes. I
Why?
lock my car doors. so it's safe. Everything.
Yeah, because somebody might break in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like you take precautions if you feel like another
Regardless,
side is
I don't
gonna-
need him to do anything to lock my doors.
Yeah, I understand that, but like I don't know if you would like necessarily like lock the kitchen cabinet cereal away from like a partner or whatever because they're going to steal it. Because you have some level of trust there, right? When you're operating in a civil society, there's some level of trust between you and the other side or the other sides or the other parties involved. When that trust is broken, there's no morality or virtue in constantly attacking your own side over and over and over again. I would say that that's actually an immoral position because all you're really doing is throwing, especially the more
How is it not like? It's the most easiest principle position to take to like come out and condemn political violence.
I
Like,
agree. That's
the
why
case
it's
of the
immoral
Charlie Kirk
because it's an easy
assassination.
position to take. It's thoughtless, it's brainless, and it accomplishes
No, but
nothing.
the Democrats have always used this just as a weaponization tactic to recuse accountability from their
But they
side.
don't. Every Democrat came
if
out
you-
and criticized the Charlie Kirk for political violence. When Trump do you recognize that Trump and Biden react differently? Like when natural disasters happen, that Biden deploys FEMA immediately, doesn't play games with it. Trump plays games with it. Do you acknowledge that?
I don't understand what that point was.
So Biden will immediately reach out to governors. He'll immediately make whatever funds available needs to be available. He'll call people, talk to people,
Yep.
whatever. Trump will play games. In California, he was saying, well, you guys have to agree to change the water rules, or I'm not sure if I'm even going to send FEMA to blue states. Trump plays games with it. Biden doesn't play games with it, right?
I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
It doesn't have to mean anything. I'm just asking a simple question. That Biden, if there is a natural disaster in a state, you don't have to worry if Biden is the president, if anything's going to happen. You know that he's going to do what he needs to do as president to step up and provide those resources. With Trump, I have no idea. If I was a Californian and a natural disaster came, I have no fucking idea if Trump's going to actually step up and do what he should do as leader and deploy FEMA in the way that it should be.
I don't know either, but
That's not good, right?
I don't see what your point is.
No, I don't. Stop
see
trying
what
to
your point
preempt
is.
my argument. I'm just saying that in and of itself, that's a bad, immoral thing, right?
What is?
That Trump won't do his job as president and take care of Americans, all American citizens.
Yeah, sure.
What do you mean, sure? It's a bad thing. It's immoral. It's like a huge failing as leader. It's one of the few
Well, you have
things.
to weigh that against all the other things that he's responsible.
It doesn't
for.
matter what else you
That's
said.
the
That
only-
in and of itself is
All
like a
right.
moral failing. Like he
I'll
should.
I'll say yes because
Okay.
it really doesn't mean that much to me. My whole point was like, why are you asking us to do something before you can make your take?
I've already made my take.
When we know that it doesn't even do anything, you already admitted that, like, oh, the president coming out and condemning all violence doesn't do anything.
When have I ever said that?
You said that at the beginning. Hence the political assassinations that happened afterwards. You said that, Destiny.
Wait, I said that the president condemning violence doesn't do anything?
Yes, you said it doesn't end up doing anything. Yes.
I don't. Did I say this?
Almost verbatim.
I don't think I said this.
Run it back.
How can I run it back?
They'll run it back.
If I thought that the president disavowing violence didn't do anything, then why would I ask Trump to disavow violence?
No, that's my question. Why would you ask Trump to disavow violence?
We just spent the whole beginning part of this debate where you were arguing that the president disavowing violence doesn't matter because the culture is controlled more by alternative media and online figures, and I was saying no, I think the president matters.
All I have to define is my paradigm, which doesn't recuse people of accountability if we just say all lives matter, basically. If we just say we should condemn all violence, that's not the truth of the situation. Like if you were to say the same thing about BLM Antifa, it's like that's not the truth of the situation. This is the all lives matter.
The issue, yeah, but the issue is that. Wait, so are you just checking? Are you acknowledging that the all lives matter argument was a bullshit argument?
A bullshit argument? No, I'm not taking a position on this.
Okay, well, because you're using it against me like it's a bullshit argument. The issue.
No, I'm just letting people know. I'm just
no,
letting people
but
what
like
you're using.
you're using. Okay, do you acknowledge that like, if like for nuclear weapons, it wouldn't be moral for the United States to just throw away all of our nukes into the sea, right?
Yeah.
That there's a morality there to protecting ourselves, to protecting our own citizens with a nuclear stockpile, and unless Russia agrees to do it at the same time, we can't do it, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I apply the same scenario to I imagine, apply it to the Second Amendment. We apply it to most places in our life that we're civil with people who agree to be civil with us. You can't enforce civility from one side. It has to come from cooperation from two
I
individuals.
agree with you. That's why you have to call out the truth of who was responsible.
Yeah,
of
but
who
okay, but
was
like
responsible.
okay, so like
Not
let's
just say all,
sure.
like every time just say all, and it
Let's
doesn't do
sure.
anything.
Let's
And
roll
you
this
don't
back.
follow
Sure.
this
Let's
rule
roll
either.
this back. Okay. Let's say that there's one side that now I know that you're not going to agree with this reality, but let's say hypothetically one side never calls out their own side when there's violence. They never condemn their own side when there's violence. They ratchet up the temperature over and over again when there's violence. And then when there is violence on the other side, they say you guys need to disavow all your violence. Do you think that in that world, is it moral for the other side who maybe isn't even being violent? Would it be moral for them to disavow?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
So I understand the position of that. I understand emotionally like why that feels like a good thing, but I think that emotion is built on a bedrock idea that it's going to be reciprocated. And if it's not ever reciprocated, now for people like me, whether it is, well, I guess maybe I might be more at risk. I don't know. But like for more vulnerable people in society, in terms of who's subject to conservative policy or maybe wider violence, depending on how you view ICE or whatever, I feel like you're throwing all those people under the bus when conservatives are able to just energize their side, ratchet up the violence, constantly scream, into the microphones that we need a civil war and all this other stuff, and then on the left you just keep disavow. What's the point of that?
As a response, I think people are calling for civil war now because of the political assassination of someone as high profile as Charlie Kirk.
Yeah,
And
but like Biden, Obama,
world wars were started for that exact same reason. So that's not like
Biden, Obama,
crazy.
no world war started yet because the podcaster got killed. Okay, but Biden, Obama, all these people,
political
all
assassination.
these people,
and they tried to assassinate President Trump, which would have been a parallel.
When you say they, you mean Republicans?
No, I don't mean Republicans.
Who's they?
I mean
Republican shooter.
Yeah, okay, fine, Republican shooter.
Okay,
but still, that would start a. Wars were started for the exact same reason.
What happened after the Republican white kid shooter shot Trump? What did Biden do? I think he increased his Secret Service. He said everybody needs to calm down. He said we should never kill each other for political violence. He said all the right things.
Sure. Yeah.
When this guy shot Charlie Kirk, before Charlie Kirk was even dead, Trump was like on media blaming trans, Tifa, all sorts of crazy stuff. We had no evidence of anything. Isn't that like super deeply immoral that the president and the vice president would come out and start making statements about the shooter before we even knew anything about the shooting?
I would say they probably think they knew more about the shooting. Like I don't know.
What is that
what
argument?
This,
what is that?
What
hold on.
Argument's about.
No.
I don't know
what?
This
Okay. Hold on.
about.
They probably thought they knew more. Like what?
No, that matters. Like just like it matters. Like if Trumpers believe the election was stolen, it's the same thing. Like
yeah, but they believe it because Trump told them that. Trump doesn't believe the election was stolen. He just
why does
lied.
that matter?
Why? Trump didn't know if the shooter was left leaning or not. He just said that because it fits his agenda. That's not acceptable for a leader to say, to just start making up theories about the shooting before we even know anything about the shooter, before they even knew anything about the shooter.
It would still matter, like, whether they believe that it actually happened or if they didn't. That would still matter
I would
more.
agree if they believe it actually happened. It makes it even worse because now they're delusional because they have no reason to even believe it. They don't even have any evidence.
I just don't know where this path of argument.
Don't stop trying to preempt it. Just like live in the moment and be a human being.
No, I don't
it's
know.
bad when
I don't
a president.
know what your argumentation is.
My argumentation is that the president should have been guessing the motives and the ideology of the shooter before we knew anything at all about the shooter. That's like a deeply immoral, horrible, terrible thing to do.
Before we do anything, yeah. I'll
before we know anything.
Like you just said, if he doesn't know anything, we shouldn't do anything.
He shouldn't make any statements about the idea, right? And then also, like, I don't think. So here's another issue. You talk about BLM. Okay, so prior to BLM, like, if we look at like the Charlottesville thing, Donald Trump was asked if he would fucking disavow, neo-Nazis or disavow the Proud Boys, and Donald Trump's statement was like, stand back and stand by.
That was. I thought that was for J6.
Nice and close to the mic there.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was for J6.
Well, they showed up on J6, but no, I think it was in.
No, but the Charlottesville instance that you just brought up, he was saying that's a soundbite, and then after that, you know what he said? He said, I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis.
Well, but it was a neo-Nazi march, right? You're talking like. So he also said he said the thing about how there were good people on both sides.
And then
or
went
whatever.
to January 6th, though.
Well, no. Hold on. He said that there were the good people on both sides argument or whatever. But I think it was like preceding, or I'm sorry, I think it was pretty soon after Charlottesville. He was asked about like denouncing like the Proud Boys and stuff. I think that happened pretty soon after Charlottesville, right? And the statement that he said, it was unhinged. He said, "Stand back and stand by." What the fuck?
Yeah. And that sounds a lot like your coded incitement of violence recently. That sounds a lot like it.
So when Donald Trump said that on Parler, you literally have like the leaders of the Proud Boys. You've got Stuart Rhodes, you've got Enrique Tarrio saying like, "Heard loud and clear, sir." And then these guys like made top secret signal groups and they organized like huge fucking, groups of people to go and break into the Capitol on January 6th. Like that's like a direct, and then Trump pardoned all those people.
But
after.
January 6th was after BLM Antifa. That's my whole point.
But those guys heard their orders loud and clear from Donald Trump's statements before the BLM Antifa stuff. The stand back and
I don't know
stand
if you
by.
can prove they're getting it from Charlottesville.
They said it. He said, "Heard you loud and clear, Trump, standing back and standing by." It was on Parler that they posted this.
Okay, well, I'm not on Parler, so well, how am I supposed to? You think I'm on Parler? Is it an
I'm not saying you're on
expectation
Parler,
that
but
I
I'm
should be
saying
on
that
Parler?
these were some of the most important, I would say, court cases in U.S. history because all these people were convicted of seditious conspiracy. But then, so these guys all made big groups of people to break into the Capitol. They were the first ones in on January 6th. And then after they were convicted and a jury of their peers and everything else of seditious treason or seditious conspiracy, afterwards, when Trump was reelected, he pardoned everybody, including these guys. How is this not like a clear signal to do the violence? Like, I'm calling for it, you did it, and now I'm pardoning you for getting convicted for doing the violence that I called for. This is the most.
That was hard to trace. I'm just going to be honest.
Okay, Donald Trump said, Proud Boys, stand back and stand by, but let me tell you about Antifa.
Yeah.
And then Proud Boys tweeted out, they said, heard you, Donald Trump, loud and clear. Then they made a plan to take over the Capitol on January 6th. Then they followed through with the plan on January 6th. Then they got arrested and convicted of seditious conspiracy related to January 6th. And then Donald Trump pardoned all of them related to January 6th.
I think stand back and stand by is less coded incitement and violence than what you have said about Trump's assassination attempts and Charlie Kirk's assassination attempts.
Okay, but you can look at my community and you can look at the differences in how people are functioning. I've said a million times that there should be no political violence in this country. It's a really bad thing. You can't find Trump making these statements. Everybody in my community knows that I don't support political violence, and I think political violence is important. It means that the system is completely failed. Everything is going to shit. That civil war is not a good thing. That none of us should want that world of reality, and that I think both sides shouldn't do it. Remember, you're looking at the fucking Rittenhouse defender guy, right? That's one of the huge things that I cut a ton of my community off over, right?
No, and I respect that.
Sure, but I'm just saying that my position on violence is pretty much it's a self-defense thing. But otherwise, fuck up. I'm not here supporting rioters ever. I think it's cringe as fuck. I had a debate on Sam Cedar over the fucking shoot. I don't even remember the guy.
It's your right to do it. I'm just saying I don't think that is I think that's a moral hypocrisy from your point, from your standpoint.
What's the worst thing you think I've said?
I think one of the worst things is probably that the worst thing to have happened was for the bullet to have missed Trump, or speaking on Corey Comptoir's death, that you F around and find out when you go to these rallies, and that what did you expect? I think you said something along the lines of what did you expect coming to those? Hold on. But when you say what did you expect, that implies that you should expect that. And that's way more coded incitement of violence.
When you say, okay, let's follow through on that last one.
Yeah.
What do you think I mean when I say that? You should expect that.
I don't know. You're on the other side of the aisle.
No, you have to know. You're giving me a lot of
No, I don't have to know. I don't have to know.
No,
but
you're
My
claiming
whole
to
point
know.
Is
What do you
your
know? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think it
I'm judging
means?
your statements. I'm
Yeah,
judging
sure.
your statements.
But what do you think? What do you think it
It's my
means?
first time I've ever talked to you. How am I supposed to know that?
Well, you obviously have idea. You just said that those statements were worse than Donald Trump's statements, where I can draw a clear line from him motivating people,
the
committing
statements
crimes, and then
alone,
pardoning them.
not off of what I think you meant by it.
But words are meaningless. They're just sounds. Ooga booga, right? They have to
They're
mean
not
something.
Meaningless. They're not meaningless.
No. Hold on. Wait a minute. No. Stop. This is a dumb argument. When you say words, there has to be a meaning ascribed to the words. Otherwise, we're just uttering sounds. If I say random things to you, if I utter speech that means nothing to you, then it doesn't mean anything. You are ascribing a meaning to the things I'm saying. So you said earlier that when I said, what do you expect? That you said that was a thinly veiled call for violence or whatever. Is that if you follow through for however much of my content you've watched?
Implication. Yeah. No. I think that's a direct implication that what do you expect? You should expect violence if you attend these rallies.
What and then why? What was the motivation? What was what was my conversation?
I don't
about
know
this?
if that part matters. I don't know if the motivation matters. Why does the motivation matter?
Because when I speak, I say more. I didn't just go live and then say 2 sentences and then turn my stream off.
You're asking me to interpret a whole lot here. I'll try to find a concession if you want to try to find a concession, because I don't understand.
Do you live your life in 2-sentence quotes? Is that how you view every single?
No. I just trace the statements. I trace the statements people make. That's
what does tracing the statement mean?
The objective meaning of the statement, which sometimes there's not going to be an object, and that's where you can throw in coded language.
Hold on.
But
I think all of you guys should. I think
statements-
everyone in here should eat dogs. Okay.
Yeah.
Would you leave this thing saying, "Wow, Destiny's audience is a bunch of dog eaters, and Destiny wants all of his audience to eat dogs," because I said that?
Say that last part.
That Destiny wants his audience to eat dogs, that they're all probably dog eaters. Destiny encourages dog eating.
No, probably not.
Okay, because it's like not. I don't talk about this a lot. I'm not a big. Shut up. I'm not a big like
No,
dog
yeah.
cuisine person,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So I think that like.
I'll make a concession if you want to make a concession. I just don't know.
What is my concession? I'm not going to make the concession that I want violence.
I'll make a concession, but it seems like we're at a standstill. Like I don't understand. Like I'm submitting a paradigm.
Well, here,
that's kinda
I can explain, and you can tell me if this sounds like it tracks with every other thing I've said, right? Is that if you engage in a political violence where every single thing you talk about is the end of the world, every single party is trying to invade you and destroy you and kill you and take over everything and mutilate your children's genitals and leave the border open intentionally to flood you with illegal immigrants, and then all the words and verbiage you use is like this, like the holy war, the fight, we got to take over the enemy, they stole your government from you, right? If those are the
And
things.
what has resulted from that? And I think my point is.
Wait. Look, I'm just saying that when you say all of these things, right? If somebody shows up at like rallies and starts shooting, that's not that surprising to me, right? Like I'd be like, okay, yeah, like I mean, this kind of makes sense. This tracks, right? This is like the verbiage and everything is like this is the end of the fucking world. Everything is coming to kill you and take your country away and destroy everything. Like, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me if that event had some kind of political violence involved.
But what if Charlie Kirk was preaching that, and then someone kills Charlie Kirk? That wouldn't make much sense then.
What do you mean?
That wouldn't make much sense. Like you just described. Lost my train of thought. What was your last point?
That if you're like in a side that's constantly preaching political violence and turning up the temperature as high as you can, it wouldn't surprise me that they're like, yeah. I mean, I would say that kind of flows outward to like a lot of different.
And then there's the part of like, what if most of that, the immigration topic that you see as incitement raising the temperature, what if that's like a real issue,
There is no real issue that requires you to label a detainment facility alligator Alcatraz.
I agree.
That's
with
just cruelty.
I'll
right?
agree with that. I'll agree with that.
Sure.
I think that was bad form, and so that's the concession I'll make. I
But
guess.
but it's not just. It gives an indication for what the other person, like, what's going on in their head, right? So if the other person,
wasn't it DeSantis that did like
every single Republican laughed at it and thought it was
All right.
epic and base and
No,
sold merchandise for it and thought it was cool and Christy Nome defended Donald Trump.
not me, but
What?
I said not me, but I'll concede that alligator Alcatraz is an example. That's an example.
Sure. So,
But
I mean,
like
like
the immigration topic, it was what you cited as incitement of violence. I'd say that's actually a real issue, which was going to be my second
things can
point.
be a real issue,
Yeah.
but also you could talk about them in a hateful or insightful
But you
way.
can't just say, "Oh, that's incitement of violence."
I
if it's a
didn't just
real
say, "Oh,
issue.
that's." I just gave you a specific, concrete example of a way that it's kind of insightful with the way that Republicans deal with it. When they say things
Okay,
like,
so I think the alligator Alcatraz example is valid. I don't think the immigration topic as a whole can be.
I've never said the
like-
immigration topic as a whole,
I
but
thought
Republicans
that's
don't
how
talk.
you started. That's how you started it. You clarified and you said alligator Alcatraz, and that's what I conceded to.
I don't think I ever said in general immigration. I feel like I've listed pretty specific things, but
Yeah, it
I'm
was
just
jumbled in there. It's hard to remember everything that you say, but it was jumbled in there. I
okay.
do know that.
Let's assume that it was jumbled in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Republicans and Donald Trump speak about everything in an existential, hateful way. So when violence like results from that, that's just not that surprising to me. I make the same criticism sometimes of Democrat rhetoric. I don't think they've gotten to the point where they're inciting violence. But when they say things like, billionaires own everything, the donor cluster owns everything, I say like, well, when you leave people no option but to not participate in elections and then to do violence, like that's what people are going to do. That's not surprising.
Which one? Participate in elections or do violence? Which one are we leaving them no option to do?
Both. I think that's what happens when you tell people that you can't participate in elections.
Those are two different things, though, don't you think?
One
you
leads
should
to the
clarify?
next. If people feel like their vote is irrelevant or their political system isn't responsive to them, then the next step is violence. That's what happens, right? How do dictatorships end? Usually
Well, you
with a
can't
coup.
say that happens, but that's not justified. That's not morally justified.
Whether it is or isn't is not what we're at right now. I'm just saying that is what will happen.
This is a moral conversation. I'm critiquing your morality. This is a conversation about morality, not like efficacy. I don't know.
Well, no, but I'm saying, well, sure, but as part of this, what I'm saying is there are certain things that you can tell people that will lead to predictable things. That's what I'm saying, right?
Yep. And
I'm
what are
not-
those things? Yeah.
So, like, if I were to tell like a group of people that there's some guy coming to kill you, and I say this over and over and over and over again, and eventually these people, find this guy in an alley and they beat him up and kill him or whatever. I mean, like, yeah, well, that's pretty obvious. I've told these people forever that they're gonna, get killed by this guy. It's not that surprising that they're gonna kill the dude. Whether or not it's moral for them to do it or not is a separate conversation. But like, that's not that surprising. People have to feel like they have options. If you take all the options away, then violence becomes the only option.
I don't think they've taken all the options away.
Who?
I think Republicans or whoever you think are taking all the options
I
away.
I agree. I
political
agree
violence.
with that. I agree they haven't taken all the options away. That's why I tell people stop being doomer and you should vote and everything and all this stuff. But Republicans, Donald Trump especially, says that all the options are gone. That's why on that January 6th speech he said like you have to fight like hell or you're going to lose your country. They're stealing the election from you. They're stealing all the votes are rigged. All the mail-in ballots are rigged. They're taking everything. They're rigging everything. The deep state is against you. They're cutting off your children's dicks. The libraries have too many gay books. Like every single thing. There's an invasion right now from the whole Democratic Party's Antifa and their domestic terrorist organization. Everything is like an existential fucking end of the world shit. Like we can't find any Biden rhetoric that matches any of this.
All right, Spencer, final thoughts.
Oh, here, wait, we'll let him go.
Yeah.
Before we move on to the next Destiny guy, who's like, oh, let's talk about vegan or whatever.
But I think he actually believes that it was stolen. That's the whole thing. Is like, it's not necessary. If he believes that, he's not just raising the rhetoric.
But he is. You can still believe a thing and raise the rhetoric.
Okay, yeah.
That's why he's doing it. But that's even scarier because now he's justified in that, right?
But what if he was justified in it? Like
then, if he was justified in it, then I think he'd be justified,
what
right?
If the election was rigged in a certain way?
Yeah.
I'm not saying the votes itself were fake, but like, what if it was?
I agree with you. Yes, I agree. I agree with everything you're saying. Yeah,
then
but it wasn't.
That would be pretty bad.
It would be.
Well, we could have that conversation about whether it was or it wasn't. But that would still be very bad.
It would be bad, but it wasn't rigged. There was no
and
evidence
that would
of it.
be justified in his response.
I understand.
That would
but
be justified in his response.
But if you were having a hallucination and I was coming at you with a knife and then you killed me for it, right? Sure, but you're hallucinating, right? This is detached from reality. So whether or not something might be personally justified to you because you're delusional or hallucinating is different than, like, is this an objective true thing in the world that we can have good responses to? Donald Trump didn't.
Do you think he was hallucinating? Because it's important.
No, he was lying.
Lying.
Yes.
Okay. So you think he doesn't believe the election was rigged?
Correct.
And he's just saying that.
Correct.
Okay.
Because every single person that he tasked with doing an investigation, all of them told him it wasn't rigged. Every single court case, essentially, but one in like Pennsylvania, they lost. There was no evidence ever that showed that the election was rigged. He had nothing compelling to ever believe any of it, but he still told people it was rigged, and he brought them there to protest the outcome of the election.
All right. Well, that's a whole nother conversation.
It always is. Yeah.
Like whether or not he believed that it was rigged, that is a whole nother conversation.
Well, if he's believing things with no evidence, isn't that pretty problematic?
With no evidence, no, not necessarily, because you could have an administration.
Okay,
that,
I'll agree with anything you're saying, but
yeah.
I just want you to understand the problem that you've just presented me with, okay? So this is the uncomfortable or weird position you put me in. That's why I have the position I have when people ask me to disavow violence. What you have laid out is all the justification needed for a violent insurrection to overthrow the government. If you genuinely believe...
That's the whole point, is I'm saying...
But hold on, wait. I can't do anything to dissuade you of that. I can disavow a million times. It's not going to change your mind on whether or not the election was stolen. It's not going to change your mind on whether the deep state is rigging everything. So unless you guys are willing to come over across the aisle and say, okay, fine, political violence is bad when everybody does it, there's no point in me saying it. All I'm doing is subjecting myself to...
There's no point in doing that. There's no point in doing...
But there is because...
it still leads to political
Democrats don't want political violence in this country.
We don't know that. How are we supposed to know that?
Because they disavow it over and over again.
You have the whole other side of, okay, we've analyzed this to death, the rights rhetoric. How about the left's rhetoric? How about the left's rhetoric?
We never talk about the rights rhetoric. What are you talking about?
All right, well, this is just an example where we live in two different realities.
We talk about the rights rhetoric so little that you don't even know a lot of the major things I'm bringing up. What do you mean?
No, I knew a lot of the major points.
You didn't know that Donald Trump apparently didn't know the Minnesota... What?
You brought up fringe cases.
The Hortman thing is a fringe
no,
case?
I brought up the Hortman thing.
The
I brought
Antifa
up
shooter,
the Hortman thing.
the Trans-Tifa church shooter? I don't think that's a fringe case.
Okay, maybe that one, but that...
The Charlottesville thing? I don't think that was fringe. This was debated a lot.
No, I knew about Charlottesville.
Okay, January 6th is not... I don't think I brought up any fringe cases.
No, I agreed with most of those. I knew about most of those.
Okay.
The only one I didn't know about was the trans church shoot. I remember hearing about it, but I don't know the details of the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the ones that they've like harped on for. That's why they said that the Charlie Kirk shooter was trans. Was because of that church shooting.
I don't care about a lot of the trans rhetoric, to be fair, but like.
I know that's great, and you know what, I'm right there with you because I'm a cis bi, I guess, whatever, fucking male. So I don't give a fuck about it either. But for people in the country who are having their rights stripped from them, right? It kind of probably is shitty.
What rights are they?
Well, the rolling back of like trans healthcare in a lot of places, the lack of guidance now from the CDC or the NIH relating to like hormones for anybody. In some states, I think they've just made it like fully illegal.
Those could be valid issues of children receiving hormone therapy. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. So those could be valid criticisms.
Yeah, they could be, but I can't hear the valid criticisms when it's just veiled with hateful, vitriolic speech.
Okay, I don't know what to say to that.
Don't be hateful and vitriolic, and maybe people will take it more seriously.
Well, I'm pointing to. I could point to leftists being hateful and vitriolic
on Twitter.
What,
do you see the
okay.
difference? Like the elected leaders, these are the people that when
I'm the one who thinks that online media is the most influential.
Yeah,
to the
but
culture.
you think that because you consume right-wing media that shows you left-wing TikTokers. Like your impression of the left comes from what the right wing tells you the left says.
No, I see a lot of the left-wing posts too, and I'm like, wow. That
the right wing is showing you. Like you can, like if
but
I were
they
to
still
ask
made
you,
the statements though. They still.
But the people on Twitter though.
People
but there were no lawmakers, no
accountable.
leaders, nobody that that was like, oh cool,
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk died, right? Every single large figure on the left condemned it.
And I'm saying that doesn't matter, and it doesn't do anything. That doesn't matter, and it doesn't do anything.
I'm just saying, I've never heard of a radical shooter that killed somebody, and they open his
'cause
diary, and this guy's like,
You were
Joseph
talking-
Biden, this is the guy that fucking radicalized me. I'm gonna go fucking get these dudes. It's always somebody
you
more
were
radical
talking,
than
You
that.
were talking about the politicians just now.
Yeah.
And I'm saying I haven't seen the left-wing online media influencers, not just denounce the Kirk assassination, because that's just a baseline. That's just basic. But take accountability. I think we're really talking about take accountability or responsibility for. We should at least look to your rhetoric first. If it came from
I would
your
agree
side,
with that, but you
like-
guys don't look at the center-left rhetoric. The center-left rhetoric is generally pretty chill. You look at people like fucking Hassan, and then you paint all of us with that brush. That dude wants violence. That's why he flew to fucking France like a pussy to go and have his little clout pussy, hounding farm or whatever over there while he does his little race shit, right? Yeah, those people do want that. But like, again, nobody's getting radicalized by fucking Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, right? You acknowledge that, right? Nobody's getting radicalized by these two political leaders, right?
Yeah.
There are people that are getting radicalized by like people on the in the right ecosphere that's like directly tied into Trump. Like you will never find on the left a Stephen Miller in the White House. That will never happen. You'll never find on the left a Jared Kushner, a family member who's managing massive.
Well, what do you mean like a Stephen Miller?
There is no family member from the Obamas, from the Clintons, from the Bidens who occupied such huge positions in the White House that were negotiating deals in the Middle East, right? You agree with that, right? Or anywhere in the world, right?
Are you talking about Stephen Miller? Or?
No, I'm talking about Jared Kushner right now. Sorry.
Okay.
So Kushner was Trump's
Okay.
son-in-law,
Yeah,
who
yeah,
was like the
yeah,
architect of the Abraham
that's
Accords.
nepotism. That's
Okay.
nepotism. But
Yeah.
you could find someone like Stephen Miller, not saying like, oh, he's as intense, like borderline
In the
fascist,
White House, though.
borderline fascist.
In the
but
White
it's
House.
it's just the right wing's equivalent of what we think is a Stephen Miller.
Yeah, but wait, but I'm
Which
saying,
would be-
I'm just saying on the left,
yeah.
where in government?
Where
In government.
well, I would name like some representative. This is off the top of my head,
Who?
but like. I
Like
would
the
say,
most radical ones are fucking are AOC
like the
and fucking
squad.
Biden.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say like the
AOC
squad.
these
I
people are
was
like-
gonna say the squad.
Yeah, but AOC and all
Yeah.
these guys all condemn the fuck out of the Charlie Kirk shooting and everything anyway. These people are not like.
I'm saying that doesn't matter. They're the politicians.
So you
They're
think
the
that if we were to
politicians.
take,
I'm
let's
criticizing
say that
the online media influencers who are in charge of their side's culture. That's what I'm criticizing.
I understand, but I'm saying that the right in charge of their culture just pushes violence, and I'm saying like even the government people do. Okay, I'm honest
Just
question.
give me something to concede.
Honest question.
Yeah.
Question. Okay. Let's say that Trans Tifa shows up right now and they abduct both of us. Okay. And we're in a room and they tell us only one of us is coming out here alive. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to make the big choice. And what the Trans Tifa super soldier, black trans woman tells you, he says, "Listen up. Okay. Here's what you have to do. I'm giving you a basket. There's two choices.
Mm-hmm.
You have Stephen Miller and you have AOC and Ilhan Omar and Rashid Tlaib and who's the fourth one? The squad. Who's the fourth one? Is it really? I never heard that name. Whatever. And Bernie Sanders. All five of them, okay?
Yeah.
You have all five of these people, okay? You have them in one basket. And then on the other side, you have Stephen Miller. Now, whichever one you choose, you have to go through and find the worst statements that they've made. And then your opponent, me, has to find the worst statements from who you don't choose. And whoever statements are worse survives. Do you think that you're going to find more like abhorrent, objectionable, crazy, vitriolic stuff from all of those people, the whole squad and Bernie Sanders, or am I going to find worse from Stephen Miller?
I would believe that, but that's because worse is subjective. I would believe that. Worse is subjective, though.
How then? Like,
Worse, worse
I feel like
is-
conservatives become postmodernists when it comes time to like have an actual concrete. Jesus.
I don't know.
Did you have any final
Okay,
thoughts
yeah, go
there,
hit me with your final thought. Yeah.
Spencer?
I'll see time. It's cool.
Well, what did you come to discuss today?
My topic of choice was Trump removing all the DEI policies, procedures, preferences from the federal agencies in his, it was an executive order that he signed the first day. He signed another one in March.
And I'm guessing you're a fan of that.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so
What do you think about that?
This is where I'm at. Okay. Um, when it comes to like the hardcore like DEI affirmative action defense stuff, I feel like the rhetoric is a little bit cringe. But when I look at the counter arguments on the other side, this is like the one big question I have. What was like a DEI or what was a DEI policy? Like, how did it manifest in a way that was like bad for government or business? Because I've never heard of like an actual DEI policy or an actual like DEI thing. It's always just like the concept of.
That's right. It is more of philosophical in nature. I'm not going to come up to you with some statistics or something like that, but it's about the principle that you should not be hiring people based off of the color of their skin. It is actually against the Civil Rights Act, right? You cannot discriminate against anybody in hiring them based on their nationality, the color of their skin, their sex, or their religion, anything like that. And when you have these programs that do preferentially hire people of particular skin colors, that is discriminatory, and it is illegal. So that's one way that it's very problematic, is that it's illegal against the Civil Rights Act.
So if it was illegal, did nobody ever challenge this in the Supreme Court, or why didn't it go down with like after the affirmative action ruling related to Harvard? Like, why wasn't it broader? I guess I'm trying to understand, because I feel, I mean, well, I'm saying I'm trying to understand. Obviously, I'm poking a little bit as well, but it feels like this never actually manifested in anything real, and I just feel like it's been the biggest boogeyman ever, which makes it. I feel like it should be like a somewhat hollow victory, because I don't know what it even changed. Like when we say, for instance, that there was like preferential treatment, like were there really qualified, like white or Chinese people that were trying to get into, certain areas of the government, and then they were disqualified, and instead they hired, some other underprivileged minority or something. Like, was this ever like part of the actual guidelines or anything? Or because all the attacks that I saw that like manifested in something real were usually just like cringe diversity videos, which I watched these at McDonald's when I worked there. It was on VHS, but we had to watch like the sensitivity training stuff when you became like a team lead and everything. So I'm just curious, like, did this actually manifest in anything bad, or is this just kind of like the principle or theory or concept of a thing?
I mean, you don't think it's bad to discriminate against people based on the color of their skin? You don't think that's a bad thing?
I don't think it's bad to, like, as part of a holistic assessment of an employee, to consider like what you want your work environment to look like, and I think that there might be times where a consideration, could be made. I feel like when it comes to hiring,
that sounds kind of racist, man.
Well, I don't think so. I think that when it comes to hiring employees, I feel like people sometimes have this misconception that like when you're looking at like employees, you have like, okay, 5 applicants came in, and it's like this guy's rank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I feel like it's not usually how it goes. I feel like you have like buckets of skills, and some people are better at some things and worse at other things, and you kind of have to make a choice, like, who am I going to hire, whatever. And it might be that, like, I feel like when you're looking at groups of people, you can kind of like bucket them, like, this would be like a really high performer, this is like whatever, and this guy we would never hire. But if you have like a basket of like high performers to choose from, and like all else equal, you have like 15 white people on your staff and like 1 black person, like maybe hiring a second black person instead of the 16th white person. I just don't know if this is like a thing that I think matters that much when you could choose one or the other, for like a coin flip anyway.
In your contrived hypothetical, even then it still does not really matter. You should just hire the person who is who has the highest qualifications.
I don't even necessarily disagree. I just don't think that it's ever like an easy way to just rank like qualifications of employees. Like, let's say all else equal, it really is like a coin flip. Would it be bad to make the determining choice on the color of the skin if you want to have like a more diverse workplace?
It shouldn't make a difference what the color of the person's skin is.
Well, I mean, I agree with you, but that's not the world that we live in, and like in the totality of everything. Like, let's say all else equal. Well, I guess here's like a more fundamental question. Do you think so I'll ask a question and give a hypothetical. Is there any value in any diverse workplace at all? And then as a comparison, let's say you could have 8 employees, and let's say all 8 of them will always be perfectly qualified. Let's say in one world you could have 8 white employees, and in another world you could have like, 3 white, 3 whatever, just like a smattering of like different people in terms of their ethnic background. Do you think that the more diverse one has something more than the less diverse one, or do you think that these are exactly the same?
What you said at McDonald's?
No, at any workplace. Assume the qualifications are even. Like, it's the people are the same qualified people, but in one that they're just more like ethnically diverse, and in the other they're all, I guess, mono ethnicity or whatever. Do you think there's anything to be gained from that more diverse work environment, or no?
I cannot imagine how that would be beneficial. Just based on the color of people's skins, there's like, what is this like this factor if you have people of different colors and you, what is that? What does that change? It doesn't change anything.
I mean, in some ways, it can bring like, I mean, there could be intangible things from a person's background that it could bring in terms of experiences. For real life manifestations of this, I mean, one example that was given was, I wish I could remember the name of the company, but they had like hand dryers and they had like little lasers that shot to detect the color of the hand underneath in order to start drying the hand, and it didn't work for non-white people. And I guess the idea was something messed up really badly, and that they obviously didn't test the product enough on people of different skin colors. Who's to say if that would have happened in a more diverse work environment or not? I've heard another complaint. I wish I could remember the brands. This is older stuff. Like for facial recognition technology on some camera thing or whatever, like it just wouldn't pick up black faces, and it would just pick up stuff in the background instead. So, I mean, there's like minor examples like that. I feel like there's just a ton of stuff that could be gained from having people from different backgrounds, just in terms of what they could bring to the table. Like I feel like in general, that's like a generally true thing. But I'm curious, like on a very general level, do you think that that's not necessarily true? That the background is totally irrelevant?
And your example of the facial recognition software, I don't know what you're attributing that failure to. If that is the correct attribution, it is harder to pick up a darker face because it's darker, so it's harder for the camera to see. Is one reason that the facial recognition software wasn't working as well.
Yeah, sure, but I mean that might be a thing that, you know, in a different workforce you would just have a different you'd have a different approach to the problem, knowing that it would be harder to pick up those kinds of faces, right? Like you would design the technology or do something slightly different, right?
Sure, on some edge cases, yeah, some person from some specific background would have a better insight into something like that if they, but yeah, somebody who was a qualified engineer that could think through all of these cases would have, a more qualified engineer would have solved the problem in either way, and it doesn't matter what the color of their skin is.
So you don't think there's any advantage gained by having a more diverse workforce at all? Like assuming all else equal for qualifications?
What could that how could that benefit you?
I mean, in terms of getting to work with different people, of having a broader, opinion of different people, just having more diverse work environments, like being around different people tends to give you broader perspectives on different people.
Yeah. I don't think it really doesn't really matter that much. But there's the two other parts. There's the equity and there's the inclusion part. And the equity, that's something that is it's not. You know, in the Declaration of Independence, it says we believe that all men were created equal, not that all men end up with equal standing. That's what equity tries to achieve.
I mean, I feel like the really obvious counter retort to that would be the Declaration of Independence was written and it said that, well, we had slavery.
That's true, but what does that matter?
Like, what ways did equity manifest?
Do you not believe all men were created equal?
Absolutely not. I've played too much League of Legends to believe that. It depends on what you mean by created equal, right? Like, I mean, in terms of, being a lot of the same rights, hopefully you would believe that in a country you live in a country of laws. But I mean, created equal, I mean, in what, like we can obviously see some people are born, without legs or arms or congenital heart defects or something like that, right? But I mean, it depends on what you mean by created equal.
So you think the value of someone as a person is somehow constrained to their physical qualities?
Why? It depends on how you define value, right? That's what I said in terms of like rights you would dole out. I would hope, generally speaking, it doesn't really change, although that's not strictly true. It depends on what we're talking about. But I mean, if you say value in terms of like how much money can they earn, like, yeah, obviously that's going to be different from person to person. If you say value in terms of what do they mean to their family or society, or like in terms of how they're recognized by the government, then hopefully that shouldn't change, ideally, right, from person to person.
Well, different people, we're going to have different incomes because they're better qualified at different things that are paid differently. There's a lot of differences in everybody, every individual. You can chop it up in so many different ways. Every individual is different.
Sure. But
And
if there are like different earnings between like genders or races or hugely divergent interests in terms of like jobs they work, like if this was due to any kind of barrier that didn't have like a good like morally, I guess, acceptable explanation, like it'd probably be good to kind of like remove those, or I could say inequities in society, right? If you could do that.
yeah, in your hypothetical existence of these things that aren't real in reality. That
You don't think there's any
so,
like pressures that push people towards like different like things or careers or instruments or whatever?
the the outcomes are not fair because the world's not fair, and if you're trying to make it fair and equitable for everyone, then you're just living in like some fantasy. It's not real.
Well, I mean, that's what we try to do with policies to make things more fair, right? Like I imagine, are you a Trump supporter?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So like if we're trying to make like the whole reason why he has a protectionist policy with regards to immigrant labor, a big reason is to make it better for American workers, but that's unfair to potential foreign workers. So, but like that's a policy that like you would never say, well, tough luck if that H-1B outcompetes you, or if that illegal immigrant from California, if he outcompetes you, then tough luck. You would say, well, no, it should be more fair. So we try to enact policy to make things more fair. That's the whole goal of policy, generally speaking, right? Or one of the big goals, yeah.
Yeah, well, fair is not giving people of a specific color advances. That is not fair.
I mean, but doesn't it depend on how it's done, or could it depend on how it's done?
No, that is literally racism.
Well, I feel like it's a kind of a one-dimensional view of racism. Now, like, let's say that I create a league because I feel like there's not enough Norwegian basketball players in the United States, and I start like a Norwegian basketball scholarship fund for high schoolers. Would this be like a bad program, like a racist program that you think shouldn't exist? Or do you think that would be like a worthy endeavor? Or would it be like a morally acceptable endeavor?
I wouldn't try to do that because that would be kind of strange to have like an ethnic club.
But I didn't ask if you would do it. I'm just saying, would it be like acceptable if somebody tried to do that? Or do you think that kind of stuff should be like illegal?
I mean, if it's not like a business, if it's just like some social club, then I don't think it should be illegal. But if they have any sort of, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird hypothetical. You have a lot of weird hypotheticals, man.
I do have a lot of weird hypotheticals, but I feel like the reason why it's such a challenging thing to address is because like I feel like DEI is like the biggest boogeyman in the world, and every time I try to press on like what does it mean, there's like nothing. It feels like.
What do you mean nothing? It's racist to discriminate against people based off the color.
Yeah,
of
but
their
you
skin.
don't even have an example of what the discrimination is.
Not hiring people because
But
of
does
the
that
color of
happen?
their
Is that the
skin.
case? Like if I look at the hiring in the government, do you have a less chance of getting a job if you're white versus some other minority, or like a man versus a woman, or like I don't know if there was ever a single policy on the book ever like this, because I'm pretty sure, like you said, those would be illegal.
I didn't want to get into nitty-gritty particulars, but in the universities, since they have some DEI policies, Chinese and other Asian Americans aren't able to get into universities as other ethnic groups may be able to, and it's not fair for Chinese Americans, and it's racist against them. That's a specific case.
But for like the affirmative action stuff, there were two things. One, I thought that was basically eliminated after the 2022 Supreme Court ruling, and then when they applied like the extra criteria in terms of like looking at background or race, wasn't this just for like the extra slots of people that they could hire in, or not hire in, but like bring into the school? This wasn't applied to the entire student base, no?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. How important is this topic to you on a scale from 1 to 10 when it comes to like DEI or whatever?
It's important, and I hope that you can recognize the philosophical importance of it in being against racism, right? That DEI actually is discriminatory in practice, and I hope that I've conveyed to you that why you should think that why you should understand that.
But if you've conveyed a problem to me, it's like a 1 out of 10 problem that I feel like I shouldn't care about that much, because I don't even know how this manifests in like any meaningful way.
Well, I told you, not in the government, but in universities, that Chinese Americans cannot get into the universities that they would otherwise deserve to get into
Well, but
if
that
it
was
weren't for
the
these
affirmative action
policies.
thing was rolled back, wasn't it? It was declared unconstitutional under the Supreme Court, so that should be gone. The affirmative action stuff, at least.
This term with President Trump, he has stopped some of that from going on. I know with one of the other executive order I mentioned.
Sure, he's writing a lot of executive orders attacking schools and removing funding from schools and trying to dictate curriculum and how they teach and do things. But I don't know what DEI stuff is being rolled back because I have no examples of it whatsoever. So now I'm living in a world where there's like real material harm, like actual harm. So funding being pulled for medical research, or visas being pulled for even being allowed to enroll in certain schools, or some schools being held hostage like Columbia. And I can point to like real actual damage there. And I have a hard time even understanding the justification for that damage when the other end of that argument is, well, at least they got rid of this like nebulous concept of DEI and that I don't even know how it manifests.
I think you're being disingenuous when you keep saying things like it's nebulous when I told you it's literally racist discrimination.
Yeah, but what am I looking at?
If people of one
No, but I'm asking like,
color-
how did this manifest? Like, I don't even know how this showed up. What do you got?
So that's in Ezra Klein's book. He gives an example about, he has a chapter about why it's hard building in California. And one of the examples that in San Francisco, there's some regulations around needing to have like minority owned businesses for certain kinds of construction contracting.
Okay. So
it's
that would
making
be
harder
a
to
thing I
build
think I
things.
would broadly be opposed to, I think. I am curious, though, like where those things... also, fuck you for helping this guy. No, but I'm fucking with that. One thing I'm curious about is where some of those requirements come from and how they filter down to that level, because I guess I'm curious. So you say that Trump wrote executive orders to get rid of like DEI stuff, but doesn't Trump also brag about making like huge investments into HBCUs and into there was a thing for his first term where it was like a huge investment into like black-owned business investments or whatever. Is that something that bothers you that he bragged about or was happy about those types of policies?
I'm not aware of what those are.
Let's say hypothetically he did do those things. Would that bother you equally or not as much as getting rid of the DEI thing? Like, would that balance it out or?
No, I mean, what you're saying, he's investing in black businesses. Why would I don't.
Because he's racially targeting businesses to invest in for black-owned businesses. He used to brag about like black unemployment and everything a lot for his first term after.
I mean.
Or he also bragged about like giving money to HBCUs,
What is an HBCU?
the historically black colleges and universities.
If he, I don't know. I don't know what he does doing. I don't know. It sounds like it's contradictory, but I'm not aware of that stuff.
Okay. Were there any other topics besides the DEI thing, I guess, or was that the main thing you wanted to go over?
No, that was pretty much it, man.
Okay. Would you say like on the list of reasons why I'm guessing you would support Trump or you still support Trump for this term? Is like DEI elimination like on the top of the list?
When I was given the prompt to come up with a topic to speak with you about, debate with you, I couldn't really think of too many completely ironclad defensible things that Donald Trump has done. He's a pretty funny guy. I think he's more of a comedian. But I do appreciate the removal of the DEI policies from the federal government. That is one thing I do appreciate.
On balance, is that like worth everything else, or are you just kind of indifferent to all the other policies?
No, I mean overall, I think he's doing a better job than Joe Biden, definitely.
Like, if you could pick like one other way besides the DEI thing, I guess, what is your favorite improvement?
Probably deporting illegal immigrants. criminal immigrants?
Well, I think he's kind of going after anyone right now, right? Okay, Travis is standing there, so that's a whole other topic we could dive into. But
Yeah. Well, let's move on. Thanks, Fateh. I really appreciate you coming up here. Let's give it up for Fateh. Come on. This is not easy. There's a Red Bull for you. All right, debaters, make sure you bring the energy, bring the pro-Trumpness when you come up here the best that you can. Leo Boone, are you in the house? All right, Leo Boone, you're next. Let's welcome Leo Boone to the... Woo! Nice and close to the mic.
Okay. Okay.
hey, what's up?
Is this too close or too far or what?
No, right up to your mouth.
Okay.
You're good.
Oh, like this?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So this is gonna be the hottest take of the night, I think.
Okay, hottest take of the night. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think you should have a blacklist when it comes to doing content with people. When it comes to debating people, I don't think it helps.
Do you think that there's anybody that's not worth debating? Well, I'll do the most hyperbolic example: somebody that can't speak English, right?
Well,
Can't
okay.
communicate with them, right? Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Maybe.
Well, that sounded more racist than I meant it to sound. Okay. That's my language. Sorry. Jesus.
Okay.
Okay. Do you think somebody who, let's say somebody like, I'm trying to think of like the worst. Do you think there's anybody I've debated where you're like, oh, okay, probably shouldn't debate that guy anymore at all? No,
So
fuck off.
I 100% think you should debate Hassan. I think you should do
Yeah, I would
content with
absol-
Hassan.
Well, I would debate Hassan. I don't know what kind of content I would do with him.
Like, you're a big proponent of like IRL content and like grassroots like organizing, and I think if you were to like reach out to like these big leftist content creators, even if they're much further left than you, if it's for the purpose of supporting a Democrat like getting elected in like 2028 or something, like I feel like, as the president would say, there's no downside, there's only good can happen.
Yeah, but I feel like the issue is they don't support, broadly speaking, like Democratic candidates now.
Right, but what I'm saying is like if you were to like publicly like reach out to these people like for something like that, like it would make them look bad to decline. I don't think you lose anything.
I don't think it would make them look bad to decline. I think they would just
Why?
decline because they don't support, broadly speaking, the Democratic Party. They think that there's like a duopoly, like
but
both parties
if
are the
they-
same.
If they were to like publicly decline, like that, like specifically, explicitly designates them as part of the problem, right? Like a
Well, they don't consider themselves part of the problem. I appreciate that you think this, but I think the
Right.
issue is I think sometimes we don't recognize like how much on the other team those people are. Like they don't view it as being a problem. They think that it's a good thing to kind of tear down the Democratic Party to bring up something stronger in its place.
but they don't say that.
But they do.
Well, they don't say I don't support like any Democratic candidate. Like even Hassan, he like does interviews with Bernie and stuff, right?
Yeah, because of for clout he will, right?
Okay, yeah, but for clout, he wouldn't do like actual activism.
There's
like,
not that much
instead of just
clout in the actual
reading
activism.
Tweets on
No, there's no
you know-
clout in that. Like it hurts my viewership when I do it. It's a lot of time, money, psychological investment. It can be a vector for other people to attack you. People attack me over my canvassing stuff. Yeah, there's just not very much clout involved. I think it's just kind of like work, and it's kind of painstaking, and it's kind of not glorious or glamorous.
Okay.
Like we tried to with was Progressive Victory the company that set up the talk between me, Vosh, and
Yes,
Emma?
that was PV. Yeah.
Yeah, and like Emma was like, I'm just a YouTuber. Well, for sure, she probably fucking is. But like even Vosh, like I think his community kind of would sign up for events.
Yeah,
but like,
he did the rewriting history thing.
yeah,
with
but
you,
like, so
right?
like, how do you work with people who don't want to actually like have a strong?
Well, I mean, that's like on them for not working with you, right? Like that's like
Yeah, but they don't consider that a vice. That's fine for them. Like you think it's a bad thing, but they don't.
I don't think you working with Vosh for the PV event, like I don't think that hurt either of you. I think like
I would.
him
It's
going
hard. It's hard to know 100%,
afterwards-
but I think it kind of sort of did because I think that my community got. I didn't follow this as closely, and I don't follow these candidates as closely, but like I think PV did a big door knocking event or canvassing event for wasn't it for Bowman?
Oh, I don't know.
Anybody know? You motherfuckers. Where are the door knockers, canvassers out here? You guys can show up to events like this. Don't go knocking on doors. Detached coastal elite. All right. Half of you are gay. All right. Unbelievable. All right. Okay. Yeah, no, but I think that when the movement was starting to support like ultra progressive stuff, I think it made my community feel a little bit uncomfortable because the type of people that you get in those spaces tends to be a lot different. And then there's also this dumb thing that happens now that I've like separated. Holy shit, progressive victory is like, tanky revolution now. Like if you look at their Twitter feed or the things that they say about me or other far left content creators or anything. So,
Okay, so I think you could still publicly reach out and say like we could do this, right? Like knowing we disagree, right? But Trump is obviously the more pressing issue here, and it would like probably be better if we had a Democratic victory over a Republican victory, right? I think most leftist figures, probably most, would agree with that, right?
I understand what you're saying, but at this point, especially where I'm at in my career and my history with everybody, I would need them to make the first effort to reach out. I've done so much in terms of reaching out, having bridges burnt, reaching out, being charitable, reaching out, getting backstab. Like, I need to see like the
But I think that's
tiniest.
what sets you apart.
Yeah, but no, it's no, because I am human. I know it sets me apart that I get backstabbed infinite amounts of time, and I still have more room in the pincushion for another fucking knife. It hurts my feelings. I'm a human.
Yeah,
How does it hurt me? It makes me look. It looks bad. It means I'm investing because like, oh, this is the guy that burns all the bridges, right? When I'm spending time with far left people that end up fucking hating me, it's not good to have that track record. It makes me look unreliable. It makes me look like I could be a backstabbing person.
Okay,
and then it also hurts.
Wait, I don't
what?
understand how you reaching out to these people and asking I don't know, like forming some kind of coalition, loose coalition or something.
How can I when both these
why
guys
would
at different points like call me like a rapist? How am I supposed to work with a person like that?
Well, but also they don't really believe that.
But but their audiences do.
I don't think so.
They do.
It's just drama slop, right?
It is drama slop, but they still believe it. You don't think nobody believes? You're in fucking San Francisco. I'm sure there are some Hasanabi heads out there that legitimately believe like I'm a fucking like a rapist, pedophile, whatever else.
I don't think so. I really don't think so.
I
think
know
it's,
so.
I think it's all just like
1 million. I've lost friends who have gone further left, and I've had
Okay.
friends who have told me that they've got friends that are like super far left. That when they bring me up,
I think it's just like internet yeah, you disagree with someone, so you say like you're an asshole, and then they say like you're a Nazi, and then you say like you're a pedophile.
no,
right?
that's not normal. No. Why can't I get like just listen? I'm not even saying that they have to say that I fuck adults. Just don't say that I fuck kids.
Okay.
Like, why can't wait? No, but like seriously, like I was the only person on the internet probably that said I didn't give a fuck about Vash's lolicon take or whatever.
Right.
That I thought that Sarah Uncensored chick or whatever who's tagging me now on Twitter, I didn't give a fuck about whatever DMs that Vash had from 9 years ago. I don't care. And I was the only person that warned live, laugh, lie, hey, you probably shouldn't be saying weird shit about Hassan and Paris Jackson. I don't think it's really fucked at a mine or whatever. Like, I've extended a ton of charity to these people, and to not even get like the slightest amount of humanity in return, why would I ever work with these people? Like, that's just like such a ridiculous ask, I feel. Like, it should be, like, it should be the easiest.
Effective.
What?
Because it could be effective.
I don't think it would be effective. It feels self-destructive.
Okay, I get it hurts your feelings part.
It's not just it hurts my feeling, but it hurts my reputation. It makes me look bad.
I don't see how it hurts your reputation. That's the thing.
Because now I'm exposing more of my audience to another audience who is like saying that I'm a, what are all the nicknames? Divorced forever, sex pestity, molestiny, Epsteiny. Like, this guy's got like his own like Ripperino, Cappuccino, Pappuccino when he talks about me, like every time. This guy talks about me so much yesterday, his own audience was like, why the fuck are you talking about Destiny again? Like, he was getting triggered by chat saying, oh my God.
Okay, well,
And wait, and even here, more importantly is, people don't consider this, is the opportunity cost, right? There are some people right now that I look at that I would much rather invest time in, right? Like the Adam Mockler dude is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think I get 100%.
100% agree.
So when I look at people, like I think maybe the Luke Beasley guy, I don't know where. There are people that I have connections with. When I say maybe, I just mean I don't know how he feels about me. I haven't talked to him in a while. But like I would rather invest time with people that we have like a mutually beneficial relationship, and we kind of like can come up together and like make content and do stuff together, and we're not constantly calling each other like pedophile rapists. Like that's just such a better environment to work in, and we have the same political goals. We're politically aligned. I'm not working with somebody who's looking for the first opportunity to eject from my political movement.
Right, but I mean,
Nice and close to the mic
Sorry.
there, Leo.
Is this
Yeah,
better?
right on
Okay.
it. Right on it.
well, someone like Vosh, right? Does Vosh call you
Vosh hasn't said anything mean in a
Okay.
while about me.
Okay. So, like, what would stop you from working with him?
I need an apology.
But come on.
That shouldn't be that hard. He said so many crazy things about me.
Okay, but like with the PV thing, right? You guys like just put aside your egos, you put aside your hatred, differences, whatever you want to call it, right? And like did like an event that was, in my opinion, like a net positive for like the liberal cause.
Yeah, but you can't. I don't think you can work with people that see you as enemies. That's like the most unstable, conglomeration of people in the universe. Like that shit will explode. And that was something we were constantly wrestling with behind the scenes with Progressive Victory as well. You could ask anybody that worked in management there, was there was always a lot of friction between like my community and his community. Like when there was PV events with a lot of Voshites, I don't think there were as many Destiny fans there. Or when there were a lot of Destiny people, there weren't many Vosh fans. Like they wanted to kind of like pull in different directions. Like there's so much stuff here that there's so much friction and stuff you have to fight with and fight through. Why not just work with communities that align with you politically, and then you don't have to worry about all this other bullshit, and you can just like have like a better political community where you're growing and moving together and like working towards a common end. Like Hassan's
'Cause
reaction,
the right does it, and they're really effective. Like
because they all vote for the same person and they support
Exactly,
the party.
but that's kind of what
the
I'm
left
saying.
doesn't. Bring them to my side, right? Do you have any animals?
Yeah, I have a dog, 2 dogs.
Okay, you have 2 dogs.
Yeah,
Right. What kind of car do you drive?
Mini Cooper.
Okay. If I told you that I wanted to swap your Mini Cooper out, okay, for a brand new Honda Civic, what would your reaction be?
I like my Mini Cooper.
Okay. That's your reaction?
Yeah.
Okay. What if I told you I wanted to fuck your dog with a black dragon dildo?
And wait, what?
I feel
what
like
do
the
get?
reaction would be visceral. I think you would say like, bro, you're not going to fuck my dog. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
When I look at somebody like Hassan on election day and he's filling out his ballot and he's like, I'm not going to tell you who you vote for. Why would I want to work with that guy? When there's a guy who's like, well, you know, it'd be the same under Kamala and fucking Trump. Like, why would I
Right,
want
but
to
if he
work
was
with that
working
guy?
with you, he would like it would be in support of like someone like Bernie or Buttigieg.
But if
or
he
something.
wanted to work with me, he would. Like, he's the problem. He's the friction there, not me.
Okay, but if you like, if you keep like extending your hand, right, then he has to keep declining, and that like just is a reminder that he's just a waste of space.
But
Like,
they're
he's
not.
just-
You view it. You think we have the same goals, but we don't. I don't think you realize that because they don't view it as bad for him to decline me working with him. Like his audience believes that in the duopoly that both
that
parties
it's
are the
better
same.
to have Trump as president than
That it's
like,
about the same. They believe that. They genuinely believe that. They call him Genocide Joe, and I think they had Genocide Harris or something. Yeah, Kamala Harris and Holocaust Harris. There you go. Yeah, this guy's got everything over here.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I see the right, and they like are just very effective at like you can agree with them on just like 10% of issues, and as long as you're voting Trump, like you can be pro-trans, gay, whatever. As long as you vote for Trump, like you're in the club. And
I don't
on the right-
disagree with you, but like the explanation I've
But I
given
feel
before.
like it's a similar kind of purity testing, no?
No, the thing is that they're playing a different game. I've said this a lot. They're playing for politics. They're trying to
Okay.
get their leaders elected. Hassan doesn't care about having anybody elected, right? How do you have the largest left-leaning streamer that is not supporting anybody basically ever, that has like no political power in the United States? That's crazy, right? If you think of like the largest political influencers in the United States and you try to map them onto like the actual composition of our government, like you think the 1350 memes are bad. This is like the fucking 195 memes. These guys are like 1% of the fucking government, not even, and 99% of the online left conversation. Like these guys have absolutely no say in government. They don't even care though. They don't care. They're not trying to get people elected. They're not out here like worried that they don't have representation in Congress. They just want to bitch and complain and moan all day and attack the left constantly. That's all they do.
Okay, but what about like debating these people? Like you say over and over, like
I would debate any of these people.
Well, but you say over and over like Hassan would never debate me, right?
'Cause he
But
wouldn't.
when was the last time he actually had like a real opportunity to?
Anytime. What do you mean? Bro, this guy almost, like, you see the
Is he
graying
not
in his
on your
beard?
black
Do you know where that came from? It was the one day he debated Ethan, and his fucking eyes were flicking in the corner of his screen, constantly seeing if I was going to pop up anywhere. Like, Ethan has, like, did you see that guy the day before? He's, like, on stream with fucking Kash Patel eyes. He's like, if Destiny appears for 1 fucking second, he's a bad streamer, they're going to fucking ban me instantly. He's, like, losing his fucking mind. I'm watching his hair fall out in real time. I mean, and that wasn't even an opportunity to debate him. I wasn't even going to do it, right? That he knows of.
I mean,
Like here's the reality. I understand what you're saying, but like my door is open to my office at any point in time. I'm actually still friends with both of these guys on Discord. I think they keep me as friends so that we can spy on each other's mutuals, which is cool. I understand it. But I'm still friends with both these guys on Discord. Like they could always reach out at any point in time. I think Vosh has a much higher chance than Hassan. But like another thing that I look at too is like streamers and their communities is kind of like an organism where I can tell like how they really feel about a thing based on how I see their communities react. Like if you've been abused a lot in your life and somebody walks up to you like this and you're like, and you flinch, right? Like, I see what's going on. No matter what you say, like if you're scared, you know?
Right.
But so like if I'm brought up in any of these communities, oh my God, the chats are fucking terrible. Even in liberal communities, the chats are pretty unhinged against me. So like I can't do that. Not only can I not do it I can do it personally. But I don't think it's a good movement to invest time into. I think it hurts my community. I think it looks bad on all of us. I think there are better communities to be involved in. I'd rather just grow my own community or find smaller content creators to work with and try to help come up than work with a bunch of people that don't care if the Democratic Party succeeds, thinks that it's the same as the Republican Party, wants to co-opt the Democratic Party every turn and thinks I'm like a pedophile, rapist, whatever.
Okay, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, if you did like a formal, like throwing your gauntlet out there, like, like challenging them to either debate or join.
Okay, I'll challenge Vosh or Hassan to any subject, anytime, anywhere. There you go.
Okay.
I could do that, yeah. But I mean, they know that. I've done this before.
Any final thoughts there, Mr. Boone?
Yeah, I'm doing this to impress a girl. Shout out Circa Power.
Oh! All right. Put your hands together for Mr. Boone.
Wait.
One more.
Wait, is she a fucking Hassan fan?
I don't think so.
Okay. wait, check man. Thank you.
All right. Well, rock and roll. Okay, our next debater is none other than another member of the Pangburn Universe Discord server, and his name is Juan Docio. Juan Docio, where are you at? You're up, buddy. Come on down. Put your hands together for Juan. Hey, buddy. There you go. On the mic.
How's it going?
It's going great. How you doing?
Super anxious.
Oh, that's good. We're fine. Don't worry. What do you do for work?
What was that?
What do you do for work?
I'm an acoustician.
Like
Like
acquiring
I do,
what? Like business acquisition, like private equity?
yeah, like private equity. I don't know what that means exactly. Like for architectural acquisition. So like when people are building a building and they want the sound in that space to matter for some reason, they'll call me.
Acquisition has to do with sound?
Acoustician.
Oh, acoustician.
Yeah,
Oh,
acoustician.
oh, that's cool. Okay,
That's a
awesome.
fancy name. Some people just call me an acoustic engineer too.
Damn, that's like a super niche fucking job, yeah?
Happens to be, yeah.
How many other acousticians are there in like the state?
I would say a few hundred,
Okay.
maybe 1,000, probably 1,000, a few thousand maybe.
Okay.
I don't know,
Crazy. All right.
not that crazy.
What's your topic? What do you got?
Thank you for the icebreaker. Appreciate it.
No problem. Just to throw you
So
off balance. You ever see Whiplash?
I have, yeah.
Where he talks in the hallway? That's what we just did. I'm about to throw this fucking chair
Thank
at you,
you.
so good
Appreciate
luck.
that. Can't wait.
All right. What do you got? What's your topic?
Yeah. So I'm an abortion immediatist. So I'm against abortion, and I support Trump in his stance. I would go further than he would go, but when compared to Kamala or Trump's, I would support more Trump's stance. And I guess I would first want to clarify your position on it and like where your cutoff is, maybe, if you have a cutoff, what you would call it. Your language matters, I think.
Is the next guy up a vegan debater? Travis? You're fucking me hard here. Okay. I'll abbreviate this a little, okay? You can tell me where we...
Yeah.
Short
Keep it
circuit,
short.
okay?
Keep it short.
So, you're against all abortion from the moment of conception.
That's right.
Okay. So, okay. Have you heard my abortion arguments before?
Very little. I like watch some on my drive here.
Okay. I won
Two
all of them, so you
ladies,
should be, no, I'm just kidding. I remember that one.
Yeah. There was
Um,
like whatever podcast or something.
Yeah,
I
it was
saw
good.
like a clip of it. It was like 13 minutes.
Yeah,
You
no
guys
problem.
got nothing across. It was okay.
Okay. All right. I'll do the back and forth and then, okay. So typically how it goes is somebody says that they're opposed to abortion because they think all human life should be protected, or there's some statement they have that would apply to human life from conception to death. My marker is I would say that the moment conscious experience emerges, that when we talk about a person and protecting a person, we're typically talking about the conscious experience. You might challenge when that begins exactly. My response is going to be that sometime when the brain is like formed and it has all like the parts and everything to deploy a conscious experience, so there's like certain parts of the prefrontal cortex or whatever that need to be there. Usually this is like around the 16 to 20 week mark. And then we'll bounce back and forth between how do you define like when a human life actually begins. I'll usually point to when a human life ends, and I'll say, well, a human life ends when a conscious experience stops. And then usually the counter retort to that is, well, what about when somebody is like unconscious versus when they wake up? And then I'll remember to say, well, it's not just a conscious experience. I'm talking about the capacity to deploy a conscious experience to clarify. And then you'll say, okay, well, now you've shifted the goalpost, so fuck you. And I'll say, okay, well, this is what I meant in the beginning. And I'll say, if you've slept and you've woken up, like there is somebody to speak of prior to sleeping or prior to going unconscious that can like assert some type of preference. So when we talk about like harm in the moral sense, there's a person we're speaking about. So when Steven goes to sleep, even if I temporarily subside having some conscious experience, there's still like the thing underneath that exerted the preference of saying, I don't want to die, obviously. And even if I'm temporarily unconscious when I wake up, like I would still reassert the same thing. And then we kind of will circle the drain on when does a human life begin. So if you want, you can pick it up there, or if there's something prior to this that I said you disagree with that. So how do you define the beginning of a human life or whatever? Yeah.
So just to clarify, like a few things, assuming that you get this position on consciousness from, there's a few scientific studies that are going around from like a quick lookup. Like, are you familiar with the RCOG's Fetal Awareness Evidence Review? It was updated in 2022. Or ACOG's Gestational Development and Capacity for Pain. Also a
I love
review.
that guy, yeah.
Yeah, there are two reviews, systematic reviews by like universities that like kind of form this argument that like, hey, consciousness, what we consider required for consciousness is not yet there until kind of what you mentioned. I think 18 weeks. Some of these mentioned a little further, but whatnot. So I think from my understanding, or from, I guess, from my experience also, consciousness is not just like these specific pathways and connections in the brain, but also the qualia regarding our experiences of those, right? Which cannot be ascertained for adults, neither can it be for undeveloped fetuses. And so I think your question of consciousness begs the question further of what is it that you exactly mean by consciousness? And I think there's something
Well, can I
further.
Can I pause and ask on that?
Go ahead.
When you say it can't be ascertained, I mean, it kind of can, right? Like we would assume that a person whose brain has ceased to function no longer experiences sensation, right? Like there is no qualia on a corpse or of a corpse, right?
I don't think it's that's clear as day and night. I think when we push like what it is that qualia is, what it is that like, okay, you see red. We can see what the mechanism in your brain that develops red looks like. But what that red is in like your experience, because you right now see it, right, in these X's or something, it looks like something to you. There's something going on there that's beyond just the mechanism of the thing that's producing it, and we know that.
So then do you not, I'm just curious, we're a little on a tangent, but I'm just exploring this. Do you think that like a dead person, how do you define death, or when is it like morally acceptable to like bury a body?
I think how like doctors do it generally, which is like an accumulation of other things that are going on, right? Usually if it's directed by like they're like treating the patient or whoever's in front of them for a thing, and then eventually that thing reaches a certain criteria by which they normally define it. They're like, okay, he ceased to be in the range of people that are in this criteria for this illness, and therefore he is dead.
Yeah, but isn't that usually defined as like brain death, basically? Like when the brain ceases to function, essentially?
Not always, no, because often you'll have patients in comas whose brain is no longer functioning, apparently, who all of a sudden, 16 years later, starts functioning again for no apparent reason.
That's exceptionally rare, generally,
exceptionally,
right?
But yet the case, and could happen again tomorrow or now.
But I would say, like, in general, we don't make decisions around, like, those exceptionally rare edge cases. Like, otherwise, we would never pull the plug on any we would have an obligation.
Well, no, we leave the decision to next of kin, don't we?
I don't know if we always do. I don't know. I don't think you have the option to indefinitely animate a body.
I mean, in that specific scenario of the patient being brain dead.
Sure.
Right. We do leave it to next of kin, and you agree it should be done that way? Or do you think we should just pull the plug and involve it?
I could be wrong, but I don't think we do. I don't think, like, if you... What? I don't think it does. No shot. In California, if you've got a person in a hospital, you can say, I want this person kept alive on bypass indefinitely for every...
There's that's
Well, that might be
there's
one
other
factor. Sure,
factors.
yeah, I could believe that. But if a person is like brain dead and they're not coming back, you think that you think in
There you go.
California you can
Hold on.
indefinitely... Yeah,
What you just said was the crux of it. They're not coming back.
sure.
How do you know?
Well, I mean, you ascertain based on things that have happened to the brain, right?
So doctors ascertain, right?
Yeah. So like
So-
the brain has been deprived of oxygen for like 20 minutes, it's probably never coming back. There's too much brain death for the person to resume functioning as like a conscious human being, right?
That's right.
Sure.
Yeah.
There are certain types of injuries or damages that can occur that like neurodegenerative diseases that degenerate too much of the brain structure for like the body to autonomously operate.
Yeah,
Right.
like I agree. There's no brain. If there was no brain there, like it just got blown up, it's gone.
Sure.
I agree. It's not going to just start working. There's nothing there to start working.
Sure.
But you're missing the edge cases here in which there's very little understanding that we have specifically in these edge cases of like diseases spreading to the brain, passing the blood-brain barrier, or illnesses specifically of the brain genetically,
What do you mean by very little understanding, or what do you mean by that?
in which occurrences like the one that I just brought up, where like that one was brain trauma, the one I was bringing up where the guy just woke up and then he actually died again later, just a few weeks later. Super sad, actually, but whatever.
Why are you guys laughing? Fuck you guys.
No, it's okay. I mean,
This
sadness
guy
is
probably
comical
woke up, he
sometimes.
probably inted my fucking lane for 2 weeks.
Super sad.
And then after I
You guys can
deranked
look
to
it up.
Diamond
It's-
4 again, I bet he probably fucking, yeah.
If you look it up, I hope you won't
I would
laugh,
also,
but
I'd have to see like, I find
You
that
won't laugh,
usually
I
when
think.
they're like the crazy edge cases, usually these are like in fucking like India, or they're like not documented well, or there's like generally speaking, like
it's interesting that you side on one of these things always on these edge cases. You say they're edge cases, but you always side on the side of non caution, right? Like for example, you brought up me being an acoustician before. Always when I give like for example, I determine how thick walls have to be so that buildings meet criteria for living spaces, and I always add a margin, right? Because I know that the engineer and the architect and everybody there, they're going to try to get a point out of it. They're going to corruptly try to make this inferior than it should be. And so I'm not going to tell you how many points, but I add a certain amount of points so that, just in case, right? And I err on the side of caution. And I think that your stance always errs on the opposite side of caution. You err on the side of, well, fuck it, this is probably not alive.
I mean, we could argue that I'm erring on the side of, being too quick to pull the plug versus the side of caution. But what we're really talking about is like when we say err on the side of either end, we're talking about the point that we're erring on, right? So do we agree on that point or do we disagree on that point? Like, do you think that consciousness is the point that matters, but you just think it like ends way later than I think it does and it starts way earlier than I think it does, or?
I don't think it matters because I don't think from what I've understood, I urge you to look into the research of the Quality Institute. Super interesting research done at MIT. Radically interesting. I mean, but I'm not going to get into that because I don't know about it too well, and it's not this topic really. But what I'm trying to say is I don't think we understand what consciousness is, and I think that it's rather interesting that you choose this thing that I think you would agree is kind of like shifty, different people.
Yeah,
It's
that's
kind of like a
why-
God question. Like you bring up consciousness, it's kind of like saying God, Depends who you're asking what they mean.
Sure, this is why I don't do abortion debates. No, but I
Here
mean,
you
like,
are.
I agree with you that, like, I legitimately, one of the reasons why I don't do abortion debates is because I feel like there's a lot of, like, uncomfortable stuff that I think merges in this conversation that a lot of people don't like to confront. So, for instance, like, a lot of people like to think that we stand on much stronger metaphysical or epistemic grounds when it comes to defining things like life, right? People say, well, science says life, blah, blah, blah. Science doesn't say shit at all. Science can describe, like, metabolic actions and stuff, but in terms of, like, when does a human get rights, like, that's for the law or philosophers to talk about. Like, a
I agree.
biologist can't really tell you that. Yeah. So in terms of, like, where do we define the beginning and end of life? I mean, that's a hard one, too, because I think, pretty sure we're bumping into literally the hard problem of consciousness, right? Like, I can't even observe it or describe the thing that is arguably the most important possible thing that you could ever have, right?
Okay, then let me ask you a different question.
Yeah, go for it.
Let's imagine, just in the future, 1,000, I don't know how many years you want in the future, right?
Sure.
someday, would you prefer that there's two individuals when an abortion takes place, right? One of them's their life's ending. Would you prefer that that would not be the case and that there would be the choice for that individual's life to remain? Or is there something about the mother's choice in still being able to end that life during that gestation period that you think is important?
I think I think it's just the mother's choice up to when that conscious experience emerges. I think that there is, I feel like there is I'm going to say word game, but I'm not implying like bad faith. But I think there's a word game that is played that makes it sound like a bad thing is happening when you're depriving someone of a choice. Because I think that we feel like depriving people of choices, especially the choice to live. I mean, ordinarily that's a really bad thing, and I agree that most of us would agree that that's a bad thing. But I think that the sentence, when you try to actually like resolve it into like a meaningful statement, well, whose life is being deprived? We're speaking about a person that doesn't actually exist. And so I think when we try to like analyze
Hold on.
Yeah,
What
go
do you
ahead.
mean they don't exist?
As in like, so, you know, like if you would ask me right now, would you want to have been aborted? I would say, well, no, obviously not. I'm alive. I don't want to be aborted. But if you go back to the moment of conception, like there is no me to speak of. There is no person to exert a preference. Yeah.
What do you mean there isn't? Of course there is. You're right there. You're small, you know, but you're there. Your genetic code is there. What you are to become is there.
Well, yeah, but I feel like this argument, I think is, I feel like this argument smuggles in like an automatic, like a big concession from my side when it's given the idea that there's like the potential of life. I feel like people will play another word game where the potential of life becomes the life itself, but potential is much different than the thing itself, right? Like if potential was the thing itself, we would have 100 trade deals in 100 days and not just 2 weeks away from all of them under Trump.
Okay.
But yeah, like I feel like, like is there a potential for life? For sure, but like a potential of a thing is not a thing itself.
No. Hold on. It's not a potential of a life, right? It is a life in the
It's
sense
a
that
potential of like a conscious experience is what I'm saying, right?
the potential of a conscious experience. Okay, well, like it's an extraordinarily high potential of a conscious experience. Would you agree?
It could be 100%, but it's still not the thing itself.
Okay, well, what other things would you agree that are like 100% true? Just so that I could elucidate it, I think you could come up with one. If you can't, it's okay. That are 100% gonna become true that you don't like.
But they're not everything. So like architecture could be an example. I could have all the building parts and I could have the blueprint for a building, and I could have everything right there. And in 2 years, I know this will be a building, but it's not yet. It's just all the parts.
Okay, well, you brought one up specifically. I know that there's not 100% chance because there's, all the things that could happen in the world before that would prevent that from happening. People die. Wages go up. Riots,
I mean, we could say
war,
the same thing about
a
the
billion
fetus,
things
right?
could happen.
But we could say the same thing about the fetus, but we wouldn't apply it there. But I'm just saying, like, if everything goes right? Like fetuses can miscarry or things. Can happen,
Right. But fetuses, we know with the certainty of a fetus to become what you consider a conscious being, right? Like we have the scientific data on that.
Well,
and it's like
assuming
over
that-
99%.
Well, sure, and assuming all the parts are laid out for a Lego set or a building or anything else, I'm just saying, like, but the potential of a thing, the parts and the blueprint are not the thing itself. There's a meaningful difference between the two things.
That difference that you're referring to isn't there in the actual conceived being, because all what you are referring to of what an organism is already there.
Well, it's definitionally not, right?
What you
I'm sure, but
what
I'm
you're
not like
calling
fetus short,
well,
right? Like there's something else that's coming up here, right? Like everything that you are is not the single cell zygote. There's like you don't have a brain, right? You're one cell.
it's all there. It's all right there.
It's literally not though,
It is. How is
But-
it not?
because I'm more than one cell.
Yes, and that being becomes more than one cell moments after.
Yeah, but it's a blueprint. But it's after. It's not at the time, and it continues to grow. So
Yeah.
it's not the thing until it becomes the thing, right?
It's not you mean the conscious being.
Yeah. Or whatever the thing is going to be. Like Kobe wasn't an all-star
Okay.
basketball player when he was 9, even though he was going to become one.
Okay,
Right?
I mean, I guess I could bring it back to, that begs the question of like, I could bring it up with like, a comparison of like other individuals in like society that are not conscious, like brain dead individuals or like people that are in comas or even people that are asleep. I guess it calls into question what you consider consciousness, right?
Yeah, but I would say for like the sleeping people and everything, I can meaningfully speak of somebody being harmed if I pull the plug on their conscious experience. I'm assuming, I think it's a reasonable assumption that most people want to live.
Yeah.
If you go to sleep, I can't just kill you in your sleep because you're unconscious because you've already exerted some kind of preference over your own body. And for me to attack that would be, most of us would agree that'd be immoral.
Yeah, but that person is not conscious.
Yeah, but there's a person to speak of. You just said that person is not conscious. There's a person to speak of, and the person.
Yeah, but
has.
it doesn't matter that there's a person to speak of, because if there is a person to speak of, then that means that there's another thing that you care about, and it's the personhood, right?
Yeah,
The fact
yes.
that there's a past. So that's a new thing you're adding in that we weren't talking about before.
I feel
you
like
know?
we're literally doing the thing that I said was going to happen. The past is, but there's a meaningful thing that's being harmed because there's a person that's like exerted a thing that's being harmed. But for the fetus, there's no prior person to speak of. Assuming if you believe in what I'm saying, that there's no conscious experience until 16 weeks, at 2 weeks, if you terminate it, then, in my theory, nobody has been harmed because there's not a person there to speak yet.
Okay, well, there definitely is a person there, just because there's a very unique person who doesn't have a past, right? Because it's the beginning of being a person, which all of us have to have at some point, right? At some point, all of us had no past.
Let's
Right?
say theoretically, let's say you could freeze the development on a fetus, and let's say at 2 weeks it was stuck that way, but it would continue to live indefinitely in that state. Do you think there's a moral obligation to keep it alive forever if you could, like feeding it in a petri dish or whatever and watching it zip around? Do you think that has like all the same rights as like an ordinary human being?
Yeah. So I have 2 points to that. I hope I
Yeah.
could say both. I think I can. Yeah. So no, given all the language that you used to describe that, right? Which is certainty about the future, which I don't think is actually a thing that could be had in reality. And if you could, then I would agree you could do that. But we can't, because we don't have that certainty.
Okay. Well, then, I would say there's a difference between that thing then and then a future thing.
I'm sorry.
Like if it's a 2-week fetus,
Mm-hmm.
like are you saying, so like, okay, so here's the other, this is like my final, I guess, logical. So let's say, so I'm going to say, well, then it sounds like you're saying the thing is different from the thing it has the potential to be, because if it's a 2-week fetus and it's going to be that way forever, you're okay killing that, but you're not okay killing a 2-week fetus that could grow into something else, so it seems like there is a difference. And then I imagine your retort would be, well, that's because you've eliminated the potential for it to grow into a future thing. So actually the potential for that to grow into a future thing is something I factor in, so that's why it's okay to kill the 2-week fetus as you've described it that'll never grow, but it's not okay to kill a 2-week fetus that could grow, that potential is important, right?
Okay, I think
Yeah.
I'm not sure I fully understood that. But from what I understood, and tell me if I'm wrong here, you're saying that because I made a distinction between the two, that there is some important difference between the two, but I can analyze two things
Mhm.
and find out whether or not they're the same or different.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that they're necessarily different. Just because there's two things that I'm analyzing, I still have the question of whether or not they're different.
Well, why
I
is
can
it
do
okay
that.
to kill a 2-week fetus, but not a 2-week fetus?
It's
who's
not okay to kill people.
Wait, hold on. Why is it okay to kill a 2-week fetus that will never grow past that point, but it's okay to kill
Because it will never grow past that point.
Okay. So the potential of the growth is important then to you, right?
The potential of the growth is important to me.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Okay. So then my question is could I not back this up before the moment of conception?
What do you mean back it up?
Like, let's say that I'm going to,
Oh, okay.
a
Go
wonderful BPD white girl, gonna have sex with her, we're gonna have a kid maybe.
Yeah, like
If
sperm.
yeah.
Two gametes separate.
But let's
Can I
say
not
that-
say that those are like about to be? No, because they're not there. There isn't an
They-
individual there. Who are you going to protect?
Wait. But there's the potential, and all the material is there. The egg and the sperm is there. But if you block it from from coming together,
Mhm.
aren't you destroying the potential of a life in like the same way?
No, because you don't have that certainty that those two gametes will have. Do you know about the different how it is that two gametes meet to make an individual? They separate the 20. Some chromosomes come from each. Do you know how that goes
I've
on?
heard of this before. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that could go on in many different ways. And the way specifically in which that happened, like we could factor the
No, but I'm saying that,
possibilities.
like, I'm
So
saying that, like, if
each of the chromosomes,
Well,
of your
let-
chromosomes,
let's
you
say-
have 20. Yep.
Let's remove the uncertainty. I don't think that matters. But
There
let's
is
say
a
that I
huge
could-
uncertainty.
Sure. Well, there's an uncertainty in every fetus, right?
Of course.
Okay. But you wouldn't say that means you can kill a fetus because there's an uncertainty.
Of course not.
So why can I stop conception when there's an uncertainty?
Because there's an uncertainty of there being an individual, but there's no uncertainty of there being an individual when there already is an individual there when the conception has occurred.
Why would there, if assuming that they're going to get pregnant if you have the sexes and you...
How is it that you see, you keep doing this, which is in your hypothetical, you assume certainty, and then you say, well, hold on.
Sure, let's
go back to the, hold on. This is actually super important.
No,
This is
it's
the
not
most
important.
important.
It's not relevant to this.
Okay, I think that this is the most important thing that we have said so far.
Okay.
Okay, let me just say it.
Okay, so let's delete
Okay,
the
fine.
uncertainty. Let's assume that it was a 100% chance if you have sex that there will be a conceived baby. At that point, then, does that change your moral analysis of the situation?
There's a 100% chance that there will be a baby, you said?
Yeah, conception will happen. If two people have sex, there's a 100% chance. Back to the Future, okay?
Mhm.
If these two people don't kiss at the dance, there won't be a baby. There won't be Marty McFly.
Yeah. You cannot you cannot stop something that you know will be a person.
Okay.
I'm with you.
So then in that case, if conception was 100%,
Mhm.
if they two people had sex, it would be just as immoral to stop that conception as it would be to abort a fetus. If you knew 100% it was going to become a person.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So
Yeah,
people don't normally bite that bullet. Let me think.
please.
Would you would you treat that the same way basically as like a murder then? Like in a world where it was a 100% chance.
Describe the world in which it's a 100% chance. This is what I want to like you and I hope the audience,
The world
I hope some understand. This idea that you can have a 100% certainty of what it is that it's going on is not real. I get that that's the point of the hypothetical, and you're trying to say, well, okay, let's assume we
The re-
do,
well, the
but we
reason-
don't.
well,
We
the re-
can't.
The reason why I'm
That's
trying to
important.
eliminate the probability is because the probability shouldn't really factor into your moral assessment, right?
Of course it should.
Okay, if there was a box in front of me and I knew there was a human being in the box, it would be unethical for me to shoot
Of
into
course.
the box. If there was a 50% chance of there being a person in the box, it would
Yeah.
be equally
1%, half a percent, whatever.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? So there's not a 100% chance that a fetus will become a human. I think it's like up to a half, depending on who measures it, are miscarried like in the first like.
Yeah. A lot of miscarriages. Yeah.
So the idea that you have some certainty in the first trimester that doesn't exist prior to that, that I don't understand. That's not true.
You have the certainty that there's an individual there, that there's a unique genetic
But you're
code
basing
there.
the individuality on the potentiality. But I'm saying that
No,
the
there's no
potenti-
potentiality. There's the reality of an organism there. We
you
know
just
what an
said- wait,
organism
but you
is.
just
We
said
know
that
how to
there- you said
define
that
an
there-
organism.
but
We,
you said
like,
if
if
there-
we look at dolphins, we know when it is that the
Yeah, but
dolphin began.
we're not talking about an organism. We're talking about a human being, a person that
That
gets
isn't.
rights and
We
life.
are organisms, by the way.
No,
We are
but
human. We are biological organisms. We're just animals.
There's trillions of organisms in a corpse. We're not talking about organisms. We're talking about human persons, right?
We are a type of organism. Those are also
Are
organisms.
you a vegan?
I'm not.
Well, you should be. So
I actually have a good argument against vegans. If you were, it would
I'm
be
just-
that
what
would have
I'm-
been something I would have
what
talked
I'm
about.
saying is that, like,
Unfortunately,
if
Trump
you're
made a law
gonna-
about it.
if you're going to argue that the potentiality is important, but then you're going to say that like a 2-week fetus that would never grow is, you can discard that.
Would never grow.
Yeah,
that,
would never.
that,
I understand. I
the
just- these are
ability for
consistent.
you
No,
to
no,
say
these are
that is
consistent.
why I say that.
I understand. These two things are consistent. Okay, but then
They're
when you go on to say that like, well, if there's a chance of it not growing, like in the potential for like conception, like when two people go to have sex, it's not unethical to stop that. Well, I would say there's a chance. There's a high chance that every fetus could miscarriage. So why would it be unethical to abort a fetus that could otherwise just miscarriage? There's no 100% fetus.
Because it hasn't miscarriaged. You're like, for example, like the same
But it
reason. Like,
could-
there's a chance that the person in front of me is 50% chance they're about to die. There's a 99% chance they're about to die. Is it reasonable for me to just shoot them? No, of course, never.
But then morally, you're basically committed to the idea that preventing two people from having sex is a similar position to murdering a fully
Of
alive
course
human
not.
being.
No, of course not. Of course not. You're misunderstanding my point because of this hypothetical that you keep bringing up, which has absolute certainty, which is impossible. And the fact that there cannot be absolute certainty in the world is part of why I have my argument be what it is,
But
right?
I use the box hypothetical to demonstrate that the absolute certainty shouldn't really calculate here when it comes to measuring the morality of the decision. If there's a 50% chance, 1% chance that somebody's in a box, I can't shoot into the box because I know I don't mean shoot into a box. I'm sorry. But like, you know what I mean, right? Like you can't.
It's
just
interesting that you bring up the box, right? Because in a way, a fetus is a person in a box. There's a chance that they're in there. Well, it depends how developed they are. Because, by the way, your specific way of defining, like, okay, at this point we cut it off, that assumes like equal development throughout fetuses, right? Like, not
Well, no,
all
that's why I said 16
fetuses
to
develop
20
at the
weeks.
same rate,
Sure.
and so some develop consciousness faster than others develop consciousness. So if you have a strict quote unquote weak cutoff, some that do and some that don't, it's kind of like a bell curve. So at some point you have to choose, and so
Yeah, I
you're
understand.
killing
That's why I
some
said
people that
sex-
do
sure.
fulfill that quality that you're
Sure,
trying to.
that's a different argument though.
fulfill.
Right? That's if we can see that the conscious experience
Sure,
is what
yeah.
matters, right? Okay. Well, I feel like we could go on this forever. So
We
what do you
could.
want?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome. Thank you, Docio. Thanks for joining us today.
thank you.
Appreciate it, brother.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. Well, the abortion issue. Do you actually enjoy debating the abortion issue, or do you not? Because it's fucking important.
Well, I mean, it is, but nobody actually does the philosophy. Usually, it's just people screaming at each other over murdering babies.
Exactly.
Right?
But you guys just did it.
Well, yeah, but then we're on a ground that we should have been able to resolve. I think.
Yeah. Well, it's tough. But there's good, I think, good polling to show that there's a lot of Trump supporters that it made him much more favorable to them as voters because of his stance on abortion.
Is there? I feel like
Yeah,
it was a relatively scary issue for him to broach. Like it energized a lot of people to be kind of in opposition to him.
I was
It didn't matter.
just rereading a Pew poll that there was, that 38% of Trump supporters that they polled that the abortion issue was one of the highest and most important.
Oh, sure.
issues
Of the
for
people
them.
that support him, it's probably really important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I just think I don't know that it gets enough attention in political discourse, and I think it maybe should get more. I've met so many people that are just single issue when it comes to abortion. Is this
I feel like
whoever's got the heaviest fucking abortion, the most anti-abortion is going to get my vote. I mean,
Yeah, I feel like the issue is that like there's a lot of other stuff that's baked into the abortion argument that
I agree.
people don't like verbally say, but it kind of comes up. Like I think that if not to be too woke, I'm in San Francisco, guys, but like I think if men got pregnant, I think that abortion would be super legal, and we would never ever talk about
I
that issue
fully
again.
agree with you.
And I feel like
agree with you.
I feel like some evidence of this is the fact that when a guy knocks up a girl that he doesn't want to get pregnant, all of a sudden he becomes a lot more pro-choice.
Yeah.
Like the only moral abortion is my abortion. So I feel like that taints it. I really, really don't like the way that conservatives and religious people frame children as punishments or consequences of action.
Yeah.
I can't tell if that's like a general hatred for humanity or if that has like a tinge of kind of like sexist anti-womanness to it. Like, oh, well, you open your legs for some guy, now you're going to get punished with the baby. Like, now you have to, suck it up and have the fucking kid. And when I hear people talk about children, that's like really crazy to me.
Yeah.
Obviously, nobody's going to like outright say that these are their motivating factors of being pro-life or whatever. But it's one of those arguments where like when you have it, like I wonder sometimes based on the things that people say, there are certain like trigger words that people say, like consequence of your actions, when we're like, okay, you're just on some like fucking punishment shit.
Right.
So.
Well, I have to say that, I haven't said this yet on the tour. I really enjoyed that abortion dialectic. Did you guys enjoy the exchange? Yeah.
Fuck you guys.
Awesome. Fuck. Bathroom, you got to go that way. There's one bathroom. It's not super far. Are you sure?
No.
No, yeah, go. We got time. We extended by an hour. All right, everyone, stretch your arms like this. Maybe go get a drink. This is not a full intermission. We're going to get rock and roll as soon as Steven gets back. So if you missed something, it's your fault. We are coming to Portland tomorrow. Portland, we are sold out in traditional Chinese theater. This will be interesting. Hey. Yeah. Oh, I won't say your last name. I'll say the Asian guy. Sure. He told me to. I didn't come up with that. All right, everyone. Everyone's going pee. Everyone's getting a drink. Yeah, grab a drink quickly. There's also merchandise here. Destiny and Pangburn. Cross-promotion merchandise. Grab some. Oh, yeah. Steven's been drinking White Claws. I better bring a couple more out here. Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for being here, everybody. Are you guys enjoying yourself? Yeah, right on. Yeah, Portland's going to be fun. And then we're in Seattle in kind of another warehouse venue. Don, seat set up. In Seattle. I'm sorry. Anyone want to travel with us and set up seats? Setting up seats sucks. No, it's okay. There are worse things in the world. Make sure you guys subscribe to our channel, Pangburn. We're going to be releasing this tonight. I'm going to go home, stay up all night, render it, and make sure we hit it with you guys tomorrow morning. My software of choice, Wondershare Filmora. I highly recommend. Yep. What's that? Oh, what did you think I was going to say? Something stupid like Adobe? No, honestly, I think Wondershare Filmora is superior. I really do. the AI integration. The AI integration, they've invested almost all their money into that. No, it's not all their money, but I like it. Not really. I don't really use a ton of the features, the AI features, but I do like playing with them sometimes. I just haven't had time in the last 6 months, but everyone keep an eye on Pangburn and Destiny for a very big announcement that's going to be happening soon, unless this interlocutor in, I guess I'm not going to give that away, overseas. I gotta be careful. I almost gave away some important information there. $5? Wow. Live dono right here, $5. $5, $1 swing, bada bada. Okay. Your fearless leader is here.
That's a lot of lines.
Heil. No, I'm not going there. No, Trev. Yeah. Xavier, are you not here?
There's a really long line for the bathroom and the concession, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Well, we can give it 2 minutes.
Okay.
Um,
I love it when they do that. It's my favorite time to have a conversation. How big our dicks were? We were the exact same length. Secret, okay.
Well, we're giving it a couple minutes, and then we'll get. You wanted me to call you the Asian guy. Sorry, I just had to make sure it was you.
Jesus.
We'll get it. He said it. I did not. That wasn't my idea.
I didn't ever hear him say that. Yeah.
Damn it. Matt, are you here? Matt to debate? Well, we might be bringing Spencer back. We'll just give everyone 1 more minute because everyone's had too many White Claws. Well, this has been good. I've enjoyed. I've noted. I felt myself sucked into the dialogue tonight.
There's an unbeatable strategy. The mainstream conservatives learn this. It's I've never heard of that thing.
Right.
I need to start saying that about Charlie Kirk. Who's that?
No.
The college visitor guy.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that one.
Misinformation's a problem, folks.
The one I've read some details. I hope I haven't read misinformation because I haven't dug deep on it. But if everything I read is true, the guy in the car, the 17-year-old kid, holy fuck! Have you heard anything about this? Yeah, this guy apparently ran over 2 girls and killed them, and then was streaming live 2 hours later, chatting with chat, and they're laughing and streaming FIFA. That's a degenerate game.
Really? What was the score?
Well, apparently 2-0, I guess. Sorry. Stop.
Come on, man.
You set me up for that one. Stop.
I teed him up. I can't do that. All right, well, Asian guy.
It's annoying because on that one, apparently the guy's feed was literally Charlie Kirk and Trump shit, and that I think supposedly this guy had said that these 2 girls were talking shit about Charlie Kirk, and so he ran him over. And I feel like we just never hear about the people that have the crazy beliefs on the other side. We moved past the truck guy, who was a super fucking MAGA worshiper. People were trying so hard to cover for him that when the picture came out of him with the Trump shirt on, they started to release a Photoshop version saying the other version was Photoshopped so that people would stop talking about it. And yeah, I don't know, conservatives are so good about holding media attention on the things that they want to talk about.
I don't know. It just feels like the conservatives are much louder about shit in general online. More effective?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that when it comes to marketing and putting together a show, which you Americans just love, you can't get enough of it. If you market and you put together the right package and show, that's going to convince a lot of guys like our next debater to vote for you because you want to continue seeing the show. As a Canadian looking at what you guys do down here, I think the left needs to get a lot better at marketing and putting together a theatrical production along with hopefully some good principles and policies. But yeah, too busy governing. That's not an excuse. No, it's not. Like, it's not an excuse. You gotta learn how to win. You know, you can't just look at what Donald Trump has done to achieve victory and the people who work for him and just say, "Oh, he's evil. We need to get through this and get over this."
Listen, we're working on it, okay?
There are
We just had
important
that one
lessons
viral
to learn
video
here.
with the brain rot. Was it the cat with the hat explaining how the Republicans shut down the government, and then so you know they're working on it, okay?
Yeah, we need some entertainment. Put the package together. All
We
right.
also have to I think Democrats excel at choosing literally the most boring speakers. They have to do
Yeah.
better at that. I don't understand. The Republicans. I guess I credit to them. Republicans are really good at choosing fucking people that radiate evil.
Yeah.
When you Mike Johnson is he's a bad guy. If he was in a movie, he's this is the bad guy. You can tell just by the way he carries himself. It's this is actually a bad. Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller looks like a guy that could grow hair but chooses not to just to look more menacing. That's how crazy they are when it comes to picking their figures. Fucking Steve Bannon looks like he's trying to be fucking Kurt Russell from Escape from New York or whatever. He's got his trench coat on and everything else. And then we've got Hakeem Jeffries talking about whatever. And then we've got Chuck Schumer who's barely. It's just fuck.
What about Kash Patel?
Yeah, that guy sees a lot.
That guy is fucking cringe. Anyways, let's go. He wanted to be introduced as Asian guy. Put it together for Asian guy.
How are you gonna drink this? Oh, okay, whatever.
I can't breathe.
Can't read?
No, never mind.
Oh, can't breathe. Oh, it was a George
So
Floyd
I
joke.
just wanted to start by taking the temperature down just a little bit because I've been a fan of Destiny for a really long time. We actually met 10 years ago at TwitchCon 2015. I have the
Nice and close to the mic there.
badges for TwitchCon 15 right here where I met Destiny for the first time, and
Oh,
I followed you for a really long time, and you've been a very
well, thank you so much.
you've been a very you've been a very good influence to me in terms of thinking and analytical thinking and being responsible and having the onus for providing evidence to your claims and all that stuff. And that's been really helpful through my education and my career and also my transition to conservatism by analyzing all the facts and being able to see the truth finally.
Okay,
And I think most of this audience is very left-leaning. Is that right?
probably, yeah. It's my audience, so I imagine they would be, yeah.
Y'all need to find some Jesus. So
Try
I-
to speak as loud as you can. Thank you.
And I prepared a couple different topics. My first one was gonna be abortion, but seems like you don't really. It's not really your favorite topic to talk about. And if you want to go for something that's a little bit more current, we can talk about the strikes on the Venezuelan boats, or we can talk about the current government shutdown and Trump's influence on those things.
Sure, we can start with the boat thing, yeah.
So you said that that's like a war crime, and he'll probably be tried in the Nuremberg trials and all.
Well,
that.
no, he won't because we're not signatories to the ICC or whatever, but I mean, you shouldn't be killing foreign nationals without some kind of due process or at least some kind of authorization from Congress.
Yeah, but isn't it like don't we have enough? Don't you believe that our government has enough intel to make those kind of decisions and be able to, even if there was going to be like legal repercussions? Don't you think Trump would be like one of the best experts at avoiding those kinds of like legal loopholes? And he is the leader that's able to carry out these kinds of actions and be able to kind of gloss over them and move on to the next thing. Do you think he excels
I think when they said drain the swamp, I think they drained the cerebral spinal fluid. I don't believe there's a lot of intelligence right now in this government, and I don't know if I would trust the call or not. But it really doesn't matter if I would trust it or not. The reality is there has to be some kind of due process, right? He's not Batman. As funny as that would be to watch.
Due process for like a an operation in the international waters
Yeah.
for foreigners.
There has to be like some kind of like military chain of command. There's a military operation, so right for Middle East operations, I believe we're still allowed to use the authorization for the use of military force or whatever. The AUMF that is still here from I think the Second Gulf War, but like for blowing up shit in the South, like around South America and stuff, and in our international waters, I'm not aware of any congressional authorization for those activities.
Well, we can just say that it's not an act of war, and this is a way to protect our border. And don't we have people like shooting people if they're coming over illegally across the border?
Yeah, but I think for that, if that is a thing that's happening, like you're witnessing the crime right there, and like I think you can take active measures to protect the border of your country. I think that's more defensible.
So
like if these boats were coming onto like U.S. shore and they were like blowing them up as they were coming onto shore, I'd be like, okay, yeah, like that's a lot more defensible for sure.
So then it just comes down to like what are like legal basis and like what standards we follow, and if what we've been doing under previous administrations have not been very fruitful in terms of protecting our border, don't you think it's time to scale it up a notch and start attacking some people?
Even if it was time to scale it up, this would not be the way to do it. There are legal processes to follow. I don't think that we just conveniently abandon the rule of law every single time Trump does something we think is epic and based. I don't think that blowing up 4 skiffs with, like 2 kilos of coke is saving the country, assuming they even had drugs on them, is like saving our country from some significant, intrusion of drugs. I don't think that that's probably making any difference at all.
But don't you think that would make those drug dealers less likely they will be discouraged from doing those kind of
maybe, but even if they were, we can't do it by breaking the law to do it. Like we should have like rule of law is important, right?
I mean, I don't know if there's even any rule of law. I don't know.
Do you think in our country, do you think the president should be allowed to unilaterally decide to blow up any boat in international water anytime he wants to?
So based on the way I've observed Trump so far, that he's been able to kind of skirt around all the rule of law, all those convictions that he got, and got like no jail time for some of the court cases, and even though all that election stuff, he lost all those court cases, but he's still able to move forward and things like that. So I trust in his ability to be able to navigate through this, regardless of what the.
Hold on, I just want to run down a couple things. Do you think that Biden pardoning Hunter Biden and all the J6 people? Do you think that was okay?
Biden pardoning Hunter Biden?
Yeah, all the pardons that Biden did.
Yes, I'm gonna say yes.
Do you think Kamala tweeting the bail fund for the Minnesota thing after the BLM riots? Do you think that was okay?
Sorry, Kamala tweeting what?
Retweeting like that Minnesota bail fund that everybody freaks out about related to the BLM riots.
Minnesota bail fund?
Yeah, she tweeted a bail fund. People say she supported bail for rioters.
Oh, for BLM?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Do you think that I'm trying to think of one more controversial thing that people don't think is okay. Fuck, I can't think of it. I'm sure there are other things.
So for Joe Biden pardoning his son, I think.
Well, here the point that I want to make, and this is I don't know if you'll acknowledge it or not. I don't care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The issue that I run into with conservatives is when they talk about Democrats, they talk about what they morally ought to do, what Democrats should do, what's right. But when we talk about Republicans, we just talk about what they're physically capable of doing. Right? Like if I showed you like, oh, here's Joe Biden, he just raped 10 women, then we would say rape is wrong. We shouldn't do that. That's not good. Joe Biden shouldn't do it. But like if I show you, well, here's Trump and he raped 10 women, like the conservative sons like, well, he's got a dick, doesn't he? Like that's just crazy to me. Like when you say Donald Trump has managed to skirt the law and get out of like accountability for every fucking thing he does, like are you selling me on this idea? Like this just sounds horrible. It sounds like a failure of the system. It doesn't sound like something I would ever fucking support. And that's just like an unhinged, unbelievable position for me to take. Like what? Like do you think that Donald Trump should constantly be breaking the law, constantly be doing things that are probably not okay, constantly be doing things that he thinks the courts could overturn? Is that good? Do we want to?
So we're getting into like slippery slope, right?
No. The slope can be even right here, and we're just talking about the things he's done. Okay, we're not slipping anywhere. We're right here.
I support everything that he's done.
You support Donald Trump being able to unilaterally kill foreign nationals or blow up ships in international water with no oversight from anybody.
Venezuelan nationals?
You don't know that?
Oh, like national of
anybody? No, you have no idea who was on. You don't even know if anybody was on the boat, right?
Well, the intelligence know that. I trust in our government.
hold on. So you trust the intelligence, the same ones that told us that there. I mean, like, there's a million memes. I know you don't trust the intelligence. I know that was a meme. Okay, your sunglasses can't hide your memery from me here. Okay, I know that's not the case. But like, I don't even know if we have no idea how Trump is even arriving at these decisions, right? Like, we don't know what intelligence they're even consulting when they're making these decisions, right?
I think these are the kind of like the same arguments where people are like, oh, down with the rich, down to the CEOs. They're so privileged and they get to do whatever they want. I think all those people that are in high positions are making very important decisions that they're charged with. I think they take those things seriously.
Okay, here's the issue. The issue is that, like, your parents could get in a boat and they could take a trip down to the Caribbean and then they could get murked by some Trump drone and he could be out here celebrating that Venezuelan drug dealers got killed.
It's under the slippery slope. It's
no, this is what's happening. He's killed people. We have no idea what he's doing. We don't have any fucking clue whatsoever.
Has Venezuela come out and said that these guys are
yes,
fishers?
A couple families come out and said that was just like some fisher people.
Well, they could be lying. Who knows?
So could Trump, right? So could Trump, right? But wait. But what you're saying here, this is why the process is important, right? This is why the due process is important. Maybe somebody is lying, but we're never going to know, right? He just killed people. Who knows? And we'll never
but
know.
we would have to trust our government for unity rather than like what the foreign nations might want to say to disrupt our
we never
conversations.
We never trust one man to make these decisions unilaterally. We have a structure of government with checks and balances where everybody's playing within the bounds of those checks and balances that we trust to operate accordingly. Donald Trump doesn't believe in checks and balances, and he doesn't even believe in the executive branch. He thinks he's addicted. He thinks he can do whatever he wants as the president of the United States.
But people from those intelligence communities are bringing up these strikes to Donald Trump
Maybe
to approve them, right?
But the problem is, like, at this point, I think what
he's not handpicking the targets. He's
I
like,
don't know.
I heard of this ship.
I mean, like, we had like in the first Trump term, I would say obviously that's the case. But in the second one, where we have what was that, like F8B, what the fuck, the schedule shit or whatever, where he's like firing people, like they're asking questions about like, do you support Jan 6 or do you support Donald Trump as the president? I don't know who's left in the intelligence communities. I don't know what's filtered up to the top brass or to fucking Kash Patel or any of these other guys. I don't know. I couldn't legitimately say at this point. Like, Kash Patel can't answer questions straightforwardly about why he's firing people from the FBI and whether it's because of political partisanship.
Yeah,
and now Donald Trump is full on that Project 2025 thing. You acknowledge he totally lied about him supporting that, right?
I don't think anybody really believed that. Okay.
He totally lied about that.
Yeah, and
So why should I believe anything
good for
this
him?
fucker
It won him the election.
Sure,
Good
and
for
he's
him.
getting to blow up Venezuelan boats right now, so good for him, right?
Yeah,
But you just did the
absolutely.
thing, right? Good for him. He was able to do a thing, right? He's got a dick, right? He fucks the country. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
like,
right.
what am I supposed to, like, fuck this guy, you know? Like, you're not selling me on him at all. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, can a dictator do anything they want? Can the president do anything they want? But no one's used to the president, like, acting like a dictator? I
Well,
mean,
this
he
is
can.
another hyperbole. Like he's not acting.
Everything I just said are things that he's done. What do you mean? I haven't even. It's funny that you say I'm speaking hyperbolically when I'm speaking of real things that the U.S. president's done, like in the last year.
No, you're making like examples of what if your mom was in there, or like he gets to do whatever he wants.
Well, the what if thing is because we don't know who's in those boats. That's true. We don't know who's in those boats. But I was just giving a broad explanation like why rule of law is important is because if we don't know who's in the boats, he could blow up anybody. He could blow up you or me or loved ones or hated ones or whatever, right?
Well, from what I've observed of Trump so far, he's not going to push the envelope so far that he's going to get totally annihilated in the courts, because he doesn't.
But he lost his trial in New York, didn't he?
Yeah, but he didn't get any sentencing for it.
Well, true. But he was convicted. I mean, he was guilty. He was convicted. He won his 2 federal cases because he was elected president. I mean, good for him there. He has gotten shut down by the Supreme Court a few times on things that he's tried to do, but he just keeps trying to circumvent the rule of law as many ways as he can and hopes that
You don't have to sell me anymore, Destiny.
I mean, I just like it's just epic and base.
I also wanted to keep it short because I have terrible stage fright, and this is like the patsy seat. But yeah, I appreciate the time. It was really nice seeing you again, and watching you over the years and rising up on the platform.
Well, hold on, wait, fuck all this. Hold on. What is the number one thing that convinced you to be like a Trump supporter?
Oh, what's
like the number one thing that convinced you to be a Trump supporter? You're like, oh, I looked at the.
It was when he won the 2024 election. That's when it convinced me.
So you would have supported whoever won the election?
Well, I voted for Kamala, and
Why then I don't even know.
because he did the impossible thing, and I have I just have major respect.
What
for
was
that.
the impossible thing?
Like I thought it was very, very high chance that
Chill,
Kamala Harris
stop.
was going to win.
You thought it was what?
I thought it was very high chance that Kamala was going to win.
Okay, but
Kamala?
you broke my brain. So like I just, so because he won the election, now you support his policies? Did you not have any policy beliefs before he won the election? I thought you said
Well,
you were
he's
motivated
like
by my
American
critical
person.
thinking encouragement and everything. I'm sorry, what happened? Where did we go wrong? You watched me during a league arc.
Well, I mean, policies are going to be, debated regardless of who is the president, right? So we're just like weighing, is Trump's policy is going to be worse or is
Yeah, that's
Kamala's
what I'm
policy-
asking you. What thing convinced you that Trump would be better, or that Trump is better than what Kamala would have been?
I think he's a better president because he is able to capture the votes of all those people, and he is able to skirt around the law in the way that he did and rise to power.
Do you think that's like a good thing for the country? Do you think that that's like a successful path for the United States to be on?
I think there are definitely some things that Trump has done that the future candidates should kind of take advantage of, because it's all about pushing advantages, right? It's not about like digging your heels in on some moral ground and be like, kids should be able to do trans stuff.
Is the marker of like the success of a president just them winning the election? Like if they win, that means that they're to be admired or respected or that they're a good leader? Is that it? Like there must be something.
You're saying that the only reason that I support Trump is because he won.
Well, that's what you said, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, that was like the tipping point, right? Because I've had qualms about the Democratic Party for a long time also. That was like the tipping point for me.
Well, but what tipped you?
That so many people are behind him.
If not to
And
role
if-
play as your
if-
mom,
if
but like
so-
if all your friends jumped off a cliff, would you jump off the cliff too? I don't understand this train of thought.
I probably would. If my friends are my family, and I want to support my family, and I trust my family, if I trust my family, and I support my family, then I would go the same direction. That's my honor and duty, and unity. Those are the values that I think Trump brings.
Well, but I mean, there is no unity. He's the most divisive president in history, right?
Only if you're a leftist.
No, I mean like by popular support, he's like the most divisive president in the history of the United States, right? The second most divisive was him in his first term, and just in terms of like raw
Well,
popularity.
if the left were to open their hearts a little bit and maybe listen to what he's saying,
So he's the most divisive president in history, right?
yes.
Okay. So I don't know where the unity thing came from. In terms of honor or integrity, I don't know what the fuck is honorable about this guy.
Well, that was just an example of like, if all of your friends jumped off a cliff, then yeah, I would follow my honor and I would follow my friends, because that is what is expected for people of a group, people of a community to do. We should be united.
Yeah, but like, shouldn't we be united as like Americans, not as like Democrats or Republicans necessarily?
That depends on how terrible the Democrats are.
Yeah, but you said it yourself, you voted for Kamala,
I did.
but then you.
I thought having a black female president would be based.
That's the only reason.
And she comes from a legal background and all that. She has all those qualifications, yeah.
Uh,
And when I see her at hearings,
so did
she's
did
very
all of your
well-spoken.
political beliefs change after Trump was elected?
I mean, isn't that what you guys are doing also? That you guys are trying to change conservative minds?
No, but our positions didn't change.
Oh well,
I'm saying I don't know how all your positions changed.
well, positions have to change in order to like switch to a different party, right?
I know, but I'm asking, did they all? Why would they all change just because Trump won the election?
Let's see. I mean, just because Trump won doesn't make Kamala all her qualifications invalid.
No, but you said it was a tipping point for you. Why don't I just? I don't know. Okay.
yeah,
Epic.
Okay, yeah.
Based.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Put your hands up for Asian guy. Well, we are going to be transitioning into the poster signing, everybody. We have free posters that Steven's going to be signing on stage. You can get a photo with Steven. The line is going to start here.
Wait, are we doing
And
this right now?
Yeah, we gotta move. Gotta move.
What the fuck? I thought we had till 11.
I know we do, but it's gonna be a while. Okay, well,
think we got
I'm
one more
open to
debater.
negotiating.
Let's do one more debater. Let's go.
Okay, let's see. We're
wait, are there any other
we're
debaters?
9:34. Okay.
Wait. Are there any other like
convinced of
big
it.
pro-Trump debaters in here?
Are there any pro-Trump debaters who haven't had a chance to debate tonight? Right there, you're pro-Trump. You got a pro-Trump position to debate. I do. Okay, fantastic. What's your name? Wyatt. All right, everyone, put your hands together for Wyatt. 20 minutes, Wyatt. We got you for 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Damn, I just said like one more, like 5 minutes. Jesus. Fuck me.
15 to 20.
Okay.
There you go.
We'll
Nice
see.
to meet you.
Indeed.
God. What's
By
up?
the way, fellow Canadian, Nova Scotia,
Sweet.
dual citizen.
For now.
Indeed. I will say so. My position that I'm, I guess, pro-Trump, and this is the reason why I didn't buy the debate ticket because I didn't have anything until recently. His action on the H-1B visa, I have found, shockingly, I support.
Do we have, is that $100,000 thing, is that like confirmed? Is that 100%? Or is that like still another talking idea thing that might happen in 2 weeks?
So it's very likely going to happen.
Okay.
We've seen a reaction kind of across the nation and some other countries as well. Living here in, the Bay Area, this is something I see directly, and I know quite a few people with this visa as well. There are a few things that are concerning. I've looked at the numbers, and of the recent data that is available, 75% of those who work in tech, and when I say tech, I'm talking about the large companies that are here. 75% of these workers are indeed H-1B workers. Now, the H-1B visa was designed
Is
for...
that true? 75% of all tech
Yes.
workers in the United States?
That is according to the most recent data available. We have a room full of smartphones. Oh, sorry. We have a room full of smartphones. I encourage those to Google it. I may be wrong, but the last time I checked, which was the data that I had was pre-COVID, that's what I saw.
Okay.
And so, surrounded by world-class universities and a lot of grads who struggling to get jobs, and computer science is not exactly unpopular. Why can't these companies hire more American workers? What's going on here? I think disincentivizing them relying on H-1B is ideal. And if it's this $100,000 way, then so be it.
So I mean, like, we can always like cut some like foreign workers to increase wages for domestic workers. I'm pretty sure that number of H-1Bs is like under 20%. Just on a cursory Google glance, 75% that's a lot.
The last time I read it was 75.
That's
is
a
that
lot
not
of
confirmed?
That's a lot of H-1B workers. That sounds like a Trump stat. But also, okay,
so
but wait, here, but I'm
75
I'm curious to test just on this like idea. Real quick, what industry do you work in?
If I am incorrect, I work in analytics.
Okay. Do you think that you should be kicked out?
Well, I'm not H-1B.
No, but you're part
I
of
have
the country.
one
You're
parent.
born in Canada.
One parent from each country.
Okay. Said you were from Nova Scotia.
Indeed. Right. My father's American, mom's Canadian.
Okay. Well, Indeed is a hop and a skip from Indian, so I'm just saying. Okay. I'm just saying.
yeah,
Let's say that we got rid of H-1Bs and we also said no more dual citizen fuckers. Okay, wherever you were born or whatever, that's where you are.
Yeah, but like, if there was some like measure of like, wow, dual citizens sure are causing a lot of problems. Like,
Which you are,
I
right?
would
Like you're
say-
here taking a job from an American that could have that job, right?
Oh, that's a good one, Destiny. Maybe, but like, I don't think that like, given the nature of the H-1B visa itself, right? It was designed for really hard to fill positions in which there are no American applicants available. That's not what it's being used for. Like and we have like, and there are places out there like hospitals and stuff that need very specific doctors who have very specific credentials. Pediatric oncologists who can work in cardiac surgery, whatever. Yeah, sure. But for what it's being used for now, it's just being misused. And I think Trump finding a way to disincentivize that was shockingly something I agree with him on. I didn't vote for him, but I agree
Okay,
with
I don't
that.
believe any of this. Okay, here's an issue. Okay, this nothing that has ever been said about conservatives makes sense. Okay, have you heard of the fucking fence post in the forest or whatever? Do you know what this thing is?
Do not. Go
Okay,
ahead.
you're wandering in the fucking forest. I guess you're on LSD or whatever. Okay, and your liberal friend sees a fence post and he's like, "Oh my god, I don't know what this is here for. Let's fucking take it out." But your conservative friend sees it and he's like, "Well, it's been here for a long time. It's probably here for a reason." And like this is like Chesterton's fence that liberals want to upend and destroy everything, and conservatives want to maintain and conserve or whatever, right? Okay, why is it that when a conservative finds like some process that they don't like the immediate go-to is to dynamite and destroy the entire fucking thing? It makes me believe that they don't actually care whether the process was like problematic or not. They just hate the whole thing in and of itself. Because anything in life doesn't work. The first thing you would do is you would try to fix it, or you would do something to like alleviate the issues if you thought there was anything beneficial there. Now, if you thought the whole thing was trash, then you would just get rid of it. So like if we think this, so H-1B workers are supposed to be, you're supposed to make a good faith showing effort to the government before you apply for an H-1B visa that you've tried to fill the position. So if people think that that's not happened, then why not change, I guess, whatever we feel like they have to do to demonstrate to the U.S. government that they tried to fill this position and they haven't been able to?
I agree with that, actually. The thing is, nobody's doing it, so yes, I don't think we should throw the system away.
But isn't that kind of what Donald Trump's like $100,000 or
So-
whatever? Isn't that kind of what he's doing?
Yes, but it's the only, this is the only time this attention, a president has paid attention to this. Biden hasn't, he said never said anything regarding that.
I don't believe this.
never.
I don't think you're just really a real human saying this to me on stage right now.
Wait,
Because you would never. Ever,
so when did Biden ever address H-1B?
I don't fucking know. Probably not.
No, he did not.
Okay,
And
but,
so,
but no,
so
but that's not
did
what I don't
Obama?
believe. That's what
No,
I'm not.
like,
That's
so,
what I'm not. That's
yeah.
what I'm not believing. Okay.
What?
What I'm not believing is this idea that like it's this weird argument that's wheeled out where, well, at least he's doing something. So the fuck what? Like just
Yeah,
because like
it's-
there's a problem and somebody does something doesn't mean that the thing they're trying is automatically respectable or good. Right, like
I
there are
think it's an
like you've heard the
effort.
saying like you're
It's an-
only making it worse, right? Like that could be a thing.
Yes.
no?
Okay. Could he have gone through Congress and passed H-1B reform
Not gone through
or something
Congress,
like that?
but
I
like
don't-
had a brain processing the problem and actually figure out like, well, what the fuck is the actual solution?
Do
What
you
is the
think he
problem?
sat in a room and came up with this in 5 seconds?
Probably. I think that probably Stephen Miller said, "Fuck Indians. I don't like these, Pajeets or whatever the fuck, and we're gonna get rid of them by doing this H-1B thing."
Well,
and then
I
Trump
don't-
was like, "Oh, explain this to
I
me."
don't-
And in between all those fucking orange pasty tans or
I
whatever,
don't- you
he
know-
signed some fucking EO. You had no idea what he said or what it meant. Yeah, probably.
I don't know if it was exactly targeted at Indians, so to say, but.
Sorry,
but,
I have a lot of Canadian friends who hate Indians, so.
No, I think Indians are lovely.
But I think don't Indians also don't they make up the like lion's share of like H-1B tech workers? I think
Yes,
they
they make up. I'm sorry,
do. They do. Yes, yeah.
65. You said the majority. So they make up the majority. So over half. And I do know that like the Indian government did make a response to Trump's proposal on this, and they were like, this is going to hurt our economy. We get a lot of money for people who send money back, and I hate to see the ripple effects indeed. However, it's nothing else is being done, and so. It kind of pushes one to think if I'm on the left and this is something that bothers me, and nobody is doing anything about it, I'm gonna think to myself, okay, well, this is something. Like this is the first time I've ever seen the issue addressed, and living here, it's a very kind of present issue, and especially with the high, the issues that are in this area.
Do you know who Uncle Adams is?
I do not. Who's Uncle Adams?
Don't worry about it.
Very well.
I can't engage with this argument because I still don't believe this is a real argument.
What do you not believe is real about it?
I don't think there's any other circumstance in life where you would accept any effort towards a problem, even if it made the problem worse, just because somebody's acknowledging it's a problem.
Destiny, how is this making it worse?
Because he's effectively just blowing up the H-1B system without running this through
So,
Congress
well,
in
it
any
won't
way, shape,
affect
or form.
current
Meaning it
holders.
might just be
So
what?
it won't affect current holders. Those who hold it now will not have to pay the $100,000 fee.
Sure.
It's a feature of applicants.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's blowing up the program and it's going to cause
Well,
mass.
I imagine no one's probably going to apply for it in the next 3 years or whatever.
Do you think no one will apply?
For $100K?
Like there will be people who.
Is it? I'm
have the
sorry,
ability.
I've actually not hired H-1B. Is it $5,000 for the app or is it more? Does anybody know?
It used to be about
what?
$5,000. It was
about
about $4,700.
Okay.
So,
So
yeah.
I don't know, for $100K, that's a big ROI. Like you're going to need to.
But the H-1B was designed for exceptional talent. If they're exceptional, then they must be worth it.
I don't think H-1B is exceptional talent. I think it's just to fill positions.
Or like highly needed talent.
Could be,
right?
yeah.
So
like
if they're
the position
really,
you
really
can't fill
needed,
in
you
the
can't
US.
find anybody
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
You're gonna. There is gonna be ROI there. There's gonna be like they're worth this investment. We can't find
Well, but the
anyone else in
ROI
the country
needs to
that's
be a
no
lot higher.
American.
The ROI needs to be a lot higher now than it was before, right?
Yes, but it's still like doable. It's still something that these mega corporations can afford if they wanted to. But
Well, sure, it'll just mean
it'll
higher cost of
disincentivize
whatever
it.
things.
It'll disincentivize it a little bit.
I mean, it can. I think that right now, I mean, like right now we're having tech hiring problems, okay? But like, but these fuckers had fucking amazing jobs for a long time, okay? Fuck these guys, okay? These guys got hired in COVID. Comp sci graduates had like a fucking 0.9% unemployment rate, okay? When these guys tell you about their struggles, all right, there's like Hassan talking about how like his, his Tibetan monk dog, like, his dog food costs $7,000 a month, or that his pants cost, like too many mortgages or whatever, right? Like tech workers will come out and say some wild shit, like I just graduated from college and I can't find a single company willing to hire me at $125K a year. It's ridiculous, okay? I hate tech workers. Fuck
There
all
we
of
go.
you.
Okay.
Yeah, boo me, motherfuckers. Fuck you. But what I'm saying is that, okay, and the honest ones will tell you that, like, especially like during COVID, I think in the period post, there is a huge rush to hire tech workers.
Yes.
And then there was a pretty brutal correction where a lot of them got laid off. And then I think around like 2023, I think this like picked up again. And then I think as of recently, there's been another kind of like layoff. And now we're like, I don't know if we're
Yes,
going to like,
there's
but like
been
in the ebbs and flows, like you're going to hire H-1B workers because you just don't have the American workers to fill it. But then like when you have the ebb and then the flow and you lose workers, you're probably going to work harder to maintain, I would guess maybe the H-1Bs is because you pay the application fee, everything else. So like
yes,
the
but
percentage
also
might be higher, but
it's
yeah.
unfair for the H-1Bs because they're beholden to their employer. If they get fired, they get deported. It's a package deal. So like they
How many
feel-
fucking people working in San Francisco are like, oh my God, like I'm a slave to fucking Amazon or AWS
Well,
and now I'm
like-
going to be deported. I just want to go back home to the fucking...
Well, no, like if you
I'm
hold
sorry.
if you hold
I
an
was mean, I'm
H-1,
sorry. I'm just saying like these
if
people
you
take
hold
these jobs
H-1B
for a
visa,
reason.
But if you hold H-1B visa, like the company has extreme leverage over you.
Yeah,
Like,
every
they
fucking
can-
employer does. Welcome to
Not
fucking
if you're an
capitalism.
American. If you're an American citizen, you can say, "I'll walk," and you can walk. That's you have the right to. This is California, at will employment.
Can't you leave for H-1B?
Well, we have Medi-Cal in California, so indeed.
It's complicated.
So,
They can enslave you if you're an H-1.
You have to be. Your employer sponsors your visa, so you have
Sure.
to.
You might
be
have to pay
tied
back-
to an
yeah, sure, it's
employer,
gonna be a bigger
or else your
commitment, sure.
visa is rendered invalid. And with this president, you will get deported.
Sure. I'm just saying that like they're making these decisions for a reason, right? Like I don't think like people are acting like the H-1B system is like the fucking guys in Dubai whose passports are being taken from them, putting like 10 people in a shack. Like I think H-1B people like it's weird. This argument is not real. This is not real either. This is not a real argument. Like no
Wait, what's
conservative
not
believes.
real about
No,
this
it's like
argument?
when
I'm-
conservatives like we're kicking all the illegal immigrants out because we're saving these poor children from being
No, it has
fucking
nothing
sex
to do about-
trafficked.
I'm not concerned
okay?
about
No,
illegal
but I'm saying like you're saying like
immigrants.
these H-1Bs, these poor H-1Bs are being enslaved, and that's what we're doing a favor
Well,
for
no,
them.
that's one of many issues with this program.
It's not an issue with the program.
Okay, so
Overwhelmingly,
you-
people
you
with H-1Bs,
can-
I don't think they're like, oh my God, I'm in America and I'm being
well,
enslaved by my fucking
Well,
tech company
well,
mastermind.
Steven, I never said overwhelmingly. I'm just
saying I don't
I'm
think it's a
simply
problem. I think it's a
saying
part
that
of
it
it,
is
yeah.
indeed a problem.
I don't think it is.
And you simply don't think it is?
No.
Why not?
Because I think that they're probably in all of the Indian society or whatever for people that
Why
are
must they be Indian?
because I think overwhelmingly for the tech industry, I think that's like the largest representation of them.
Okay, we'll
Or
go
but
with
anybody
that.
that's
We'll go with
applying
that.
for an H-1B,
Indeed,
right?
okay.
For anybody that's applying for
India,
an
East
H-1B,
Asia, okay.
they're probably, my guess is, probably some of the more highly educated people in those countries because they've
Yes.
got the technical know-how to apply for an American job and they've got the willingness to move to America, right?
Okay.
So they're probably some of the most privileged class, meaning in their countries, they probably have a much higher choice of jobs they could work, but they're not going to pay as well. And they're making the choice to apply for the H-1B and come to the United States or whatever and work here. So I doubt in general that these people are like enslaved by their masters to do work. And
okay.
Like, it's like a minor
I don't
annoyance.
know. Enslaved is a bit.
I'm sorry, I'm using hyperbolic language. I think
But
most of them
they are
probably-
literally contractually beholden to the employer.
Yeah,
right?
but like, I understand.
If the
but like,
employers just started doing them wrong in some kind of way, there are any sort of, we know that these companies are not altruistic, right? They're going to do
I
their.
understand. It's just like a con for benefit, right? But it's like a very minor con, and people choose the benefit. Are you familiar with like the concept of tuition reimbursement?
No.
Okay, so the way that I've heard it works generally is when I go to the casino, they offer this. You let's say you're at a job, and they'll say, hey, if you want, you can go and get a bachelor's or a master's degree. We'll pay you more, and we'll even cover the cost of your tuition.
Okay.
But you got to work for us for 3 to 5 years or whatever. Otherwise, when you leave, you got to pay us back the cost of your tuition, right? I mean, so like on the way,
Puts
you're
you
kind
in
of like
debt.
on the hook, but it's like a huge benefit. A lot of people like accept that and pursue that, and they are okay with that. And I guess theoretically, your boss could treat you like shit, but nobody would ever say like, well, if we got rid of tuition reimbursement, at least we wouldn't be beholden to our masters because we are, on the hook for this tuition. They'd say like, well, that was a big benefit, and there is a con.
All right, you get the final
Wait,
word,
well, here,
my
let him.
friend.
Well,
yeah.
Okay, yeah, sorry, yeah. Finish your train of thought, Gar. Yeah.
I mean, I
I mean, here, how about this? The vast majority of H-1B holders are happy to have H-1Bs, right?
maybe. We don't know. Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay.
Why do they apply for them?
Well, they
This isn't
apply
a real-
for them for money. I mean, right? A lot of us take jobs we don't really like so we can make ends meet. But I'm saying, like, they apply for them because they want the job. Yes, they want the job.
Okay.
That's their goal.
Okay.
Indeed.
And now we're making the program virtually unusable, or it's going to be exceptionally.
We're making the
Gated.
we're making the program less accessible. I'll
Okay.
agree, yes.
All right. And ostensibly, we're doing that, I guess, for the domestic American worker, I guess.
That's what I'm choosing to believe. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I can't read Trump's
Well,
mind.
no, I will
and
say,
I don't
like,
like
no,
the guy,
I
but
mean,
I
that's
like
a stated
I like
reason.
the policy.
That's a stated
But-
reason, and I agree. That's why, right? It's a protectionist immigration
Yes,
policy
to-
to protect your domestic labor, and
Indeed.
maybe in certain times, I guess this is all I'll say. Okay, if you were concerned about the H-1B program, then I feel like you would look at I feel like I've only done this one time, and so many claims about this are so overblown in terms of like how many people are participating and what companies have.
Yeah,
to
I
do to,
mean,
like,
that-
hire
that's
people.
75%.
But what I'm saying is like
It was
what you would say is
pretty
like, okay, well, if there is I think that H-1B program is being abused too much by corporations, so I'm going to put like these new guidelines in so that it's not being abused as much, right? If the graduation rate of some sector is too low, or if I don't think you've done a good faith showing and trying to hire people, or we're going to even make like a public portal for people that are applying for H-1B jobs to have American jobs or whatever, or American employees looked at first. Like, this is a person who sounds like, oh, okay, well, this guy probably wants to, modify the H-1B system.
Yes.
When I see Trump come in and do this wacky and wild $100,000 limit where fucking people didn't even know the implementation, you had people trying to grab plane tickets, come back, nobody even knew what the fuck this looked like because you've got this senile fucking moron on stage, signing an EO, he doesn't know what it does, and no one even has any guidance on it. This is like a deeply unserious approach to this problem, and I'm not going to give him good credit for approaching it just because it's a problem nobody else was acknowledging. And I feel like that train of thought would carry over to every single other problem in your life. You would never accept somebody approaching a problem you have in a horrible way just because at least they're saying something about it.
Okay. I could.
All right. Put your hands together for our friend here. It was a great run.
Thank you.
And how about everyone's hero of the night, Stephen Bonnell Desi, Donald Trump's worst nightmare. Oh, yeah. All right. We're going to transition to the post show, poster signing. The lineup is going to start right off the edge of the stage right here, and it's going to go all the way around. Security will help you in where the lineup needs to go. So listen to security. As you go by the bar, grab yourself a drink. It's going to take a little while to get through everybody, but we're going to do our best to keep things going. Craig, up in the booth, if you could hit us with some funk music, that would be fantastic. Crank it. Yeah, what's that? Sorry. Yeah. There will be pictures available. Yeah, we'll let you know when we're ready. And make sure you guys push right up against the wall so that everyone can get by.